This page is the vibrant December 1993 cover of Beep! Powerful Mega Magazine Mega Drive. Dominating the foreground is Sonic the Hedgehog, alongside a peculiar camera-like character, while Tails is seen flying above in his biplane. The cover highlights a special attachment focused on Phantasy Star IV, The End of the Millennium, a highly anticipated RPG at the time. The main feature delves into how virtual cinema interactive movie games, such as Night Trap and Mansion of Hidden Souls, are transforming the Mega CD software landscape. The cover also lists many upcoming or recently released titles across both the Genesis and Mega CD platforms. Notable games mentioned include Shin Megami Tensei, Dungeon Master 2, Might and Magic 2 Eye of the Beholder, Dyna Brothers 2, Art of Fighting, Aladdin, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Tournament Fighters, Metal Fang, Battlemania Daiginju, Tecmo Super Bowl, Virtua Racing, and Lethal Enforcers. This issue promises a look at some of the biggest titles hitting Sega platforms towards the end of 1993. This page prominently features Sonic and Tails, known internationally as Sonic the Hedgehog Chaos, on the Game Gear. Dynamic artwork shows Sonic and Tails in action alongside several screenshots from the game. The headline declares the game's fun is no joke. The text highlights that in this iteration, you can play as either Sonic or Tails, and new actions such as rocket shoes, hopping, and the super spin dash are introduced to enhance the already fast-paced gameplay. The game was scheduled for release on November 19, 1993, priced at 3,800 yen. A speed contest is announced to commemorate the game's launch. Players were challenged to clear Turquoise Hill Zone Acts 1 and 2 as quickly as possible using either character, record their clear time and code displayed at the end, and submit their entry. Prizes included plushie sets of Sonic and Tails. Advertisements on the page also showcase special Game Gear bundles released simultaneously. The Sonic and Tails pack bundled the console with the game at a special price of 15,800 yen, and a Mickey Mouse's Magical Crystal pack was also available. Contact information for Sega's customer service and a hotline for new game information are also provided. This page showcases two distinct games. The top section features an upcoming RPG titled Phantasy Star Gaiden, The Reviving Legend, starring familiar characters from the popular Puyo Puyo series, including Arle Naja and Lulu. The game boasts sampling voices and a unique new system within a 3D dungeon perspective, as seen in the screenshots showing the first-person view and character portraits. It promises fun and emotion with the charm of its characters. Below, the page highlights Deep Duck Trouble starring Donald Duck, the latest action game featuring Disney's beloved character. Artwork depicts Donald reading, while screenshots show the side-scrolling platformer gameplay. The text emphasizes Donald's comical actions, such as lying down and jumping, making it appealing to both action game fans and Disney animation enthusiasts. A small panel also promotes the Game Gear, highlighting its ability to provide color gaming enjoyment anywhere. This page highlights one of the pioneering full-motion video games made possible by the Mega CD, Night Trap. Prominently featuring images of the live-action actors, the game is described as a hot topic overseas, offering an interactive story full of immersion, thrill, and suspense. Players are tasked with protecting 5 girls at a lakeside villa by utilizing various traps set within the house. It promises an experience akin to being inside a suspense cinema, all rendered through digitized live-action footage. The page lists the game as a Mega CD exclusive virtual cinema software, scheduled for release on November 19th at a price of 8,800 yen. There is also a small panel promoting Sega's information services and customer support numbers across several Japanese cities. This page introduces Mansion of Hidden Souls, known in Japan as Yumemi Yakata no Monogatari, a Mega CD exclusive presented as an astonishing vs. R experience game, and virtual cinema software. Following in the footsteps of titles like Night Trap, this game promises an immersive, fantastic adventure set within an eerie, mysterious mansion. Players are challenged to unravel the mansion's secrets by carefully observing the screen and listening to the sound, utilizing their imagination to solve puzzles. The game features special CG images to bring its world to life. It was scheduled for release on December 10, 1993, priced at 7,800 yen. The page also highlights the hardware needed to experience such Mega CD titles, showcasing the compact Mega Drive 2, the Mega CD 2 attachment, and the all-in-one Victor Wonder Mega RGM2 console. This page announces the upcoming release of Sonic Spinball, heralded as a Sonic Shock, arriving from the USA. It presents the game as a new action title featuring the globally popular Sonic the Hedgehog, combining his signature speed and moves like dashes and spins with pinball gameplay elements. The text emphasizes the game's intense, driving sensation. The imagery includes the Sonic Spinball logo, an illustration of Sonic himself, and small screenshots depicting the game's pinball environments filled with hazards and enemies. Scheduled for release on December 10th, the game is priced at 6,800 yen. A small section also promotes the Mega Drive 2 console, highlighting its high performance and low price of 12,800 yen. This page showcases a fantastic collection of official merchandise celebrating the Phantasy Star series. Headlined as items for those who know the history of Algol, it features striking artwork, including a large illustration by Hitoshi Yoneda that captures characters from the series facing a formidable monster. Fans could get their hands on Phantasy Star Sound Collection grids covering the first 3 games, and the latest Phantasy Star IV, an exclusive illustration book featuring new art, character t-shirts with designs like Alice from Phantasy Star IV, phone cards and bandanas. These were highly anticipated and exclusive items, only available through mail order via Rakanza and Seigatsukan. Ordering details for phone and mail are provided. This page announces the official game music sound CD for Sylphid, a classic space shooter renowned for its striking visuals and music, which later saw a fantastic release on the Mega CD. This highly anticipated soundtrack, supervised by the original developers Game Arts, features the iconic music composed by Meccano Associates. Fans will appreciate the newly drawn jacket art by the renowned artist Yuji Kaida, known for his mech and monster illustrations. As a special bonus for those who reserve the album, a large B2 poster featuring this stunning illustration was included. The CD also includes a complete English dialogue translation and 2 theme songs from the original PC-88 Steradian version of the game, The Legend of Sylphid and Little Moments Peace. This CD was released on November 24th for 2,800 yen, offering a deep dive into the atmospheric sounds that defined the Sylphid experience. This page is an advertisement for Yoyogi Animation School, highlighting their programs focused on training professionals for the anime, manga, and game industries. The school promotes itself as the place to cultivate anime-style game artists, showcasing a student-produced project called City Night from their 1992 graduating class as an example of their work. The ad includes character illustrations from City Night and short snippets of dialogue attributed to the project's 3 main heroines, along with a brief description of the project's development within the school's curriculum. The Academy offers various departments including computer animation game, voice actor talent, SFX special effects, comic/manga professional training, finishing art, junior novel writing, anime production, visual illustration, background art, OVA creator training, anime/AV operator, animator, and TV/broadcasting art, with program lengths of 1 or 2 years. The school emphasizes its goal of 100% employment or debut for its students. Information on campuses, dormitory options, student work distribution, scholarships, free courses, and details on requesting information packets and attending open campus events are also provided, noting that they are accepting applications for enrollment starting in April 1992. The contact information for the main campus in Tokyo is listed. This page is an advertisement for the Sega Genesis version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters from Konami. It announces the game as a versus fighting title, featuring the popular heroes in a half-shell. Key features highlighted include fighting stages set in unique, perhaps otherworldly, dimensions, a character edit function allowing players to customize performance, and an instant replay feature to review matches. The advertisement provides a release date of December 3rd, and a price of 8,800 yen, excluding tax. The visuals include a dramatic close-up of a turtle's eye, promotional art depicting the turtles, and other series characters like April O'Neil, Casey Jones, and villains, alongside screenshots showcasing the game's fighting gameplay on various stages. This page presents a striking advertisement for Konami's Castlevania Bloodlines, originally titled Vampire Killer in Japan, for the Sega Genesis. The dominant imagery features a vivid close-up of a vampire's fanged mouth and eye, setting a clear horror tone. The page promotes the game as the definitive horror action experience in the beloved Castlevania series. Key features highlighted include the ability to play as 2 distinct characters, offering unique combat styles, an array of diverse enemies across numerous stages, and emphasis on high-quality, realistic sound design. Screenshots showcase the game's platforming and boss battles. A smaller section on the left advertises a soundtrack CD releasing November 3rd, containing music from Castlevania, Bloodlines, and Castlevania, Rondo of Blood, along with an arranged version from the X68000 Castlevania. The main game, Castlevania, Bloodlines, is scheduled for release in spring at a price of 7,800 yen. This page features an advertisement for the Sega Mega CD version of Might and Magic 2 Eyes, Isles of Terra. The artwork dominates the page, displaying a vibrant world map of Terra, complete with various landscapes, menacing creatures like a Hydra and Cyclops, and notable locations like castles and dungeons, offering a glimpse into the vast scale of the adventure. The text presents Might and Magic 2 as a full-fledged 3D RPG that has captivated adventurers worldwide, now making its debut on the Mega CD. It boasts an enormous map spanning 64 areas, serving as the stage for countless quests and discoveries, emphasizing the game's high degree of freedom as a major draw. The message challenges players who might be tired of domestic RPGs to take on this world. Small screenshots show the game's classic first-person dungeon view and character portraits. The advertisement notes the game's release on November 26th for 6,800 yen, excluding tax, and confirms compatibility with the Mega Mouse, Fighting Pad 6B, and backup RAM cartridge, highlighting its exclusive status for the Mega CD platform. This page features the game Dyna Brothers 2 for the Mega Drive. The vibrant artwork showcases charming cartoon dinosaurs and the game's title prominently. Screenshots reveal the game's top-down perspective, showing units moving across diverse landscapes and experiencing dramatic events like lightning strikes. The page describes Dyna Brothers 2 as an ecological active simulation game where you strategically control living dinosaurs. It emphasizes a realistic ecosystem with elements like food chains, seasonal changes, volcanic eruptions, and rising sea levels dynamically reproduced. The dinosaurs themselves are said to act based on artificial intelligence, moving according to their own will as if truly alive, engaging in activities like eating, laying eggs, and fighting. The game also boasts powerful and varied natural disaster attacks, including lightning strikes, storms, earthquakes, and meteors, which can cause secondary damage based on the terrain. The text highlights that the game has been powered up to be even more comical and offers various modes to enjoy, such as a story mode with an enjoyable drama, a training mode that doesn't require reading instructions, and exciting two-player battles, promising plenty of fun. It mentions the game is scheduled for release in November for 8,800 yen. This page showcases Or Burgel, the fourth entry in the Psychic Detective series, exclusive to the Mega CD. The artwork features a striking portrait of a woman with dark hair, possibly the character Chinako Kagefuji, surrounded by delicate white flowers, setting a mysterious and somewhat melancholic tone. The text introduces the protagonist, psychoanalyst and psychic detective Kazuya Furuya, who is called to protect a doll by Chinako Kagefuji, the wife of a renowned architect. This strange request leads him to the bizarrely named mansion, Kidante, where serial murders begin among the invited guests. The story hints at a sad mystery hidden within an Ichimatsu doll and a forbidden domain. Data West highlights the game's use of their DAPS system for video and audio, now featuring a DAPS replay function, allowing a continuous playback of about 50 minutes of the game after completion, showcasing the CryDrum capabilities. A key feature is the addition of full PCM voice acting for all characters except the protagonist, a significant upgrade based on player feedback. The game utilizes a new version IM system, emphasizing high interactivity with voice, text, and video responses to player actions, promising more than just a simple port. Scheduled for release on December 10th at 7,600 yen, Orgel continues the series' unique worldview in a self-contained story. This page promotes the Third World War, a simulation game for the Mega CD, focusing on geopolitical strategy and leadership, highlighted by artwork featuring figures resembling Saddam Hussein and Bill Clinton. Scheduled for release on November 26th. This page features the Tatsujin controller, a specialized controller designed for the Sega Mega Drive systems. Marketed as the strongest controller pad on Earth, it boasts several key features to give players an advantage. It sports a full 6-button layout, essential for many later Mega Drive games, but also includes a mode to ensure compatibility with older 3-button titles. The real selling points are the high-speed autofire, capable of an incredible 30 shots per second, and a 2-step slow-motion feature, perfect for navigating bullet hell or tricky platforming sections. The controller is designed with ergonomics in mind, including finger stoppers for improved handling during long gaming sessions. It's compatible with the original Mega Drive, Mega Drive 2, Terra Drive, and Wonder Mega. This pad was a solid option for competitive players back then. It was available for 3,480 yen. Also highlighted is a fresh cleaner lens cleaner, a necessary item for Mega CD owners to maintain optimal performance. This page unveils an upcoming must-have for Mega Drive and Mega CD fans. A comprehensive software catalog. Set for release in early December, this extensive 172-page guide isn't just a list. It's packed with game reviews, including the popular editorial dog race scores and reader poll results, detailed explanations, essential gameplay tips for nearly every title, and even a directory of software developers. Also highlighted is the Everything About Laseractive MOOC, available now. This publication explores Pioneer's innovative Laserdisc-based multimedia system, delving into the hardware and its unique software library. It covers titles such as the interactive I Will, Manhattan Requiem, Angel Mate, Vajra, and High Roller Battle, featuring insights from the creators who brought these pioneering multimedia experiences to life. This page highlights a new publication, RPG Fantasy Encyclopedia, Chanbara Heroes, presented as a long-awaited sequel. This book delves into the world of Chanbara, Japanese sword-fighting drama, contrasting it with Western fantasy and exploring its unique appeal. It covers key aspects of the genre, including the history of samurai and bushido, the significance and history of Japanese swords and sword-fighting techniques, notable historical novels focusing on duels, and biographies of both real-life historical figures and fictional characters prominent in Chanbara stories from literature and television. The book is priced at 1,800 yen and is a CO-authored effort with an accompanying illustration. The page also briefly mentions other related publications, including the RPG Fantasy Encyclopedia, which focuses on the origins of RPGs in mythology and fantasy, and 2 upcoming titles, RPG Fantasy Encyclopedia Warrior Edition and RPG Fantasy Encyclopedia Japan Edition, the latter covering Japanese mythology and fantasy elements. This page presents the cover of the inaugural issue of MacUser magazine, published by SoftBank. Positioned as a magazine to boost the creativity of Macintosh users, the first issue features 2 key topics. The first delves into surviving the PowerPC era with the strongest Macs and expressing satisfaction with one's Mac choice. The second feature explores how to improve usability fourfold using inits and CDEVS, detailing a 30,000 yen KT7 tune-up. As a special bonus for the first issue, readers receive a MacDauman Kleindrom and a separate guide for purchasing Kleindrom drives. This monthly publication is priced at 980 yen and was first released on November 18th. Leveraging content and expertise from the American MacUser and MacWeek publications by Ziff Davis Publishing. This page is an advertisement for the Pioneer Laseractive system, highlighting its release in the autumn of 1993 as an encounter with the unknown. It promotes the system's ability to deliver realistic video and live sound through its combination of Laserdisc and CD technologies. The ad features images of the main CLDA 100 player and the PAX-1 Megold and PAC-N1 Eldrum Squared attachments, allowing playback of Laseractive, Mega CD, Genesis, Mega Drive room cartridges, Eldrum Squared, and Super CD-ROM Squared. The ad mentions games like the virtual shooting game, Pyramid Patrol. This page serves as the table of contents for the December 1993 issue of BeepMD magazine. It immediately grabs attention with highlights of major features and reviews. There's a special bound-in supplement dedicated to the Phantasy Star series, specifically focusing on the latest installment, Phantasy Star IV, The End of the Millennium, as evidenced by a screenshot featuring characters at the Motavia Academy. The magazine covers a range of new releases in its new Game Scramble and B-Mega Hot Menu sections, featuring titles like Sonic Spinball, Aladdin, Fatal Fury, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Tournament Fighters, and the Mega CD full-motion video title, Lethal Enforcers. A significant feature delves into virtual cinema on the Mega CD, discussing its potential to change software with games like the controversial Night Trap, shown in a screenshot, and the story of the Dream Mansion. The main features include deep dives into Heavenly Symphony, Langrisser 2, and something referred to as VR. The magazine also previews the '93 Mega Drive Academy Awards, asking readers for their best game votes, and introduces new Mega CD titles in its Mega CD Press section, covering games like Shin Megami Tensei and Eye of the Beholder. This page analyzes game software sales for Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear, featuring a top 15 chart reflecting strong recent releases. It highlights that despite the abundance of quality titles, many buyers felt they still wanted more. Topping the chart is Street Fighter II-Plus, described as the definitive version of the popular fighting game. Following closely at number 2 is the RPG Shining Force 2, noted for its depth. Sonic the Hedgehog CD takes the third spot, praised for its cool marketing and excellent music. The highly anticipated Gunstar Heroes debuts at number 4, selling out quickly upon release. Other notable titles in the top 15 include the puzzle game Puyo Puyo, the RPG Shining Force Gaiden, the shooting game Sanahawk, and the classic action RPG Gauntlet. The page also presents a top 5 ranking for arcade video games, noting the current popularity of fighting games. Super Street Fighter II leads the arcade chart, lauded for its new characters and immense popularity. Fatal Fury Special holds the second spot, featuring powerful characters and new techniques. The list is rounded out by Fly 1 Superlap, Air Combat, and Samurai Showdown. This page dives into what Mega Drive users are hoping for and anticipating. The top section details the games users most want to see ported to the system, a list heavily influenced by the current popularity of arcade fighting games. Topping the charts are titles like Samurai Showdown, Fatal Fury 2, and World Heroes 2, showing strong demand for arcade powerhouses. This section also brings good news, confirming that Outrunners will indeed be getting a Mega Drive port, putting some users' minds at ease. The second major list covers the most highly anticipated new games coming to the Mega Drive and Mega CD. This lineup is packed with major titles like Virtua Racing, the highly anticipated Phantasy Star IV, The End of the Millennium, Langrisser 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and Streets of Rage 3. The list features a mix of genres, from racing and RPGs to platformers and strategy games, spanning both the cartridge and CD formats. Commentary suggests that user attention is focused on these big upcoming titles, leading to significant shifts in the rankings. The page highlights a few key anticipated games with screenshots and descriptions, including the fast-paced Virtua Racing, the story-rich Phantasy Star IV, and the strategic Langrisser 2. Spotlight features also cover the anime adaptation Urusei Yatsura for Mega CD and the visually impressive Aladdin, praising its superb animation and direction. Overall, the page reflects a passionate user base, eager for high-quality ports and exciting new entries in popular series. This page kicks off a new review section called BeepMD Race, dedicated to helping buyers navigate the latest releases on Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear. It explains the scoring system, which uses a 10-step odds scale based on the average of 4 different reviewers: a beginner girl, a foreign game user, a game mania group, and a general game user. 2 recent Mega Drive action titles are reviewed here. First up is Aladdin, released November 12th. This Disney adaptation by Sega and Virgin Games is highly praised across the board for its exceptional animation and faithful depiction of the movie, earning a strong average score of 8.0. Reviewers highlight the fluid character movements and visual detail, making it a must-see for fans of the film. Following is The Flintstones, released November 19th. This Taito-developed action game based on the classic cartoon receives a more mixed reception, averaging 5.75. While some unique character animations are appreciated, the overall gameplay is seen as somewhat standard, and the level design can be frustrating. Despite the lower score, its budget price point is noted as a positive. This page continues the BeepMD Race review section, evaluating 4 more Sega Mega Drive titles. First up is Space Funky B.O.B, a unique action game featuring an odd robot protagonist. Released November 19th, it scores an average of 5.25. Reviewers found the main character appealing despite somewhat awkward movement, and noted the simple gameplay and password save system. The game's retro, quirky atmosphere was appreciated by some. Next is King of the Monsters, an action title where giant monsters battle and destroy cities. Released November 26th. It averages 6.25. This port of the arcade game allows for two-player versus matches. And while the gameplay might be repetitive, the satisfaction of wrecking environments was a highlight for reviewers. Tecmo Super Bowl, a simulation of American football released November 26th, receives a high average score of 8.0. Reviewers praised Tecmo's smooth controls and speed, calling it a recommended sports game, especially for fans. The detailed data on players and teams, and the overall polish, made it stand out, despite some missing licensed names. Finally, MiG-29, a fighter jet simulation released November 26th, scores an average of 5.75. This port of the Amiga game offers multiple missions from a cockpit view. Reviewers found the controls typical of flight sims, requiring practice. While it offers a realistic experience, the graphics and presentation were considered a bit plain, and the use of Russian characters for the password save was a point of complaint. Dynabrothers 2, a dinosaur-raising sim, received high marks, 8.0, for its charming characters, well-designed story mode, though puzzle-heavy later, and easy rules. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Tournament Fighters, 6.0, was praised for smooth movement, but criticized for lacking originality and uneven character balance. Lethal Enforcers, 6.75, a light gun shooter port, was deemed a solid conversion, impressive visually, and benefiting from faster loading times. Night Trap, 7.0, an interactive movie game, was lauded for its unique full-motion video presentation, but felt restrictive in gameplay despite the interesting camera angles and controversial content. This page reviews 4 Mega CD and Game Gear titles. Might and Magic 2i, a 3D RPG port, received mixed reviews, praised for its vast world and addictive gameplay, but criticized for slow reaction speed. The strategy game, The Sword World War, was well received for its music, realistic features, and ease of entry, though some found it shallow. R-Shark, another RPG port, was noted for voiced lines but criticized for its blocky graphics and difficult gameplay. Finally, Sonic and Tails for the Game Gear was lauded for improved gameplay, introducing Tails and enhancing the experience, despite some feeling it lacked sonicness. Overall scores varied, but generally aligned with these impressions. The BeepMD Race column reviews recent game releases across Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear. Madu Monogatari, Mitsu no Madukyu for Game Gear, a port of a popular MSX RPG, receives a high 8.0 average rating and 9 review score for its faithful representation and engaging combat system. Mega Drive saw solid releases like Dynabrothers 2 and Aladdin, while Mega CD offerings were fewer but included titles like Night Trap. Game Gear's releases are highlighted, with Madu Monogatari highly recommended. The editorial notes an overall improvement in software quality toward the end of the year. This page introduces the B-Mega Reader Race Volume 3, a feature where readers submit ratings for Sega Mega Drive games, and the results are compiled into a ranking. The column explains that readers act as critics, and the aggregated scores provide a public assessment, like horse racing odds, hence the name. The main content is a ranking table based on these reader votes, showing current rank, previous rank, game title, genre, and average reader score. Featured prominently are detailed summaries of the top-ranked games based on reader feedback. Taking the top spot is Gunstar Heroes, an action powerhouse praised for its pure fun factor, intense action, and strategic depth despite its high difficulty. Readers highlighted the boss battles and replayability, but some felt the ending was lacking or found parts repetitive. Ranked third is Shining Force 2, the Ancient Seal, an RPG noted for its strong story, improved visuals, and compelling character art. Reader comments focused on the engaging scenario, character development, and strategic depth, though some mentioned pacing issues or difficulty spikes. A smaller section highlights Marvel Land, ranked much lower at 187th. Readers found its controls somewhat clunky and frustrating at times, noting that while the visuals were okay, the gameplay wasn't overly exciting. However, the password system and helpful items were appreciated. The page also includes analysis of the ranking table's top tier, noting the emergence of many high-quality titles, leading to a very competitive race, with tightly packed scores among the top contenders. This page continues the BeepMD Reader Race Ranking, showcasing games 59 to 133. Highlights include Street Fighter II, Champion Edition, 6th, praised for its faithful port, new features, and graphics. Thunderhawk, 12th, is lauded for its satisfying destruction and responsive controls, though some found the missions repetitive. Gauntlet, 13th, received mixed feedback, praised for its quest mode and music, but criticized for lacking significant improvement over other versions. Sonic CD, 26th, is commended for its expansive levels and battle mode, but some found Sonic's movement less fluid. Reader comments on various games, including the Sega Classic Collection and Winning Post, are also featured. The page concludes by noting the difficulty in accurately predicting the exact rank of Street Fighter II. This page continues the BeepMD Reader Race Rankings, showcasing games further down the list and highlighting some with specific notes. The recommended long shots section features Road Rash 2 at 50th, praised for finally including a two-player versus mode, though some found the graphics and speed not quite up to par compared to the original. Zamza, ranked 161st, is noted for its nice graphics and cute animal characters, but the game itself is deemed quite challenging, especially the boss fights. Moving on, the cautionary games section draws attention to titles receiving mixed or negative feedback. Devastator, at 249th, is noted for its visual style pulled from anime, which creates a good atmosphere, but the gameplay and story fall short. Harima Nada, a sumo game ranked 337th, is heavily criticized by readers for being simply not fun, with unresponsive special moves and illogical mechanics. Other games reviewed include Kishi Densetsu, Night Legend, at 180th, an SLG that some found surprisingly engaging despite initial impressions, offering a high degree of freedom. Jurassic Park, ranked 196th, is appreciated for its dinosaur mode, but the human character controls are panned as extremely difficult, overshadowing the impressive visuals and music. There's also a note about Thunder Force IV being available at a much lower price, highlighting it as a classic shooter now budget-friendly. This page features the magazine reporter's Sacred Long Shots, highlighting games they personally recommend from the rankings. Real Suzuki picks Janoog, a shooter released by NCS. They praise its unique atmosphere, strange characters, and surprisingly balanced gameplay, noting how it influenced titles like Cho Aniki. Despite the crowded shooter market, Janoog's distinct style stood out, although its sales weren't spectacular. The reviewer points out its innovative use of both standard attacks and magic. Another recommendation is Shura no Mon, a fighting game based on the manga of the same name. The reviewer highlights its faithfulness to the source material and command-based battle system, noting that while it might not appeal to everyone, it's a must-play for fans of the manga, praising the detailed visuals and character dialogue. The page also briefly highlights Twinkle Tail in the Next Up, Bye section as a fantasy-style shooter worth picking up if found, and features Top Pro Golf 2 in the Rest Horse Cart section, commenting on low player participation despite having doubled the number of courses compared to the original. The reader ranking list continues down the page. This page dives into the rivalry between the Mega Drive and Super Famicom, focusing on third-party developer performance. It presents tables comparing how well developers are doing on each system based on reader rankings, with GameArts leading the charge on Mega Drive and Chunsoft on Super Famicom, among developers not currently active on the Genesis. An article discusses the importance of increasing third-party support for Sega's upcoming hardware, welcoming new companies while emphasizing the need to nurture existing strong developers. It notes that many companies have shown interest in Sega's future plans. Readers can participate in games like predicting the final ranking of the returning puzzle classic, Columns 2 Eyes, or guessing the average score for the upcoming Lethal Enforcers CD release. The page also serves as a recruitment call for participants in the ongoing reader race. Finally, the editorial staff provides commentary on the current state of the Mega Drive market, noting the significant impact of the new hardware announcement and the fierce competition playing out in the rankings, suggesting big changes are on the horizon. The reader ranking list continues down the side of the page, showcasing a wide variety of games and their current standings based on player votes. This page delivers major news about the intensifying battle for the next generation of gaming consoles. Sony has officially declared its full entry into the industry with its own standard, the PlayStation, aiming to compete directly as a dedicated game machine. This move significantly escalates the rivalry involving Panasonic's 3DO, which is shown alongside other potential future competitors, like Nintendo's announced 64-bit system. Meanwhile, Sega continues to support the Mega Drive with new peripherals, including a cordless controller and an updated arcade power stick, with rapid-fire features set for release soon. The page also reports on a fan event held in Akihabara, celebrating the launch of Shining Force 2, featuring developer appearances and a VR experience demo. A new multimedia store, Hyperbrute, specializing in games and PC magazines, is also noted to have opened. This page dives into upcoming events and new releases across various media. Headlining the information section is the announcement for the Puyo Puyo Festival 93, an event celebrating the popular puzzle game that will feature both general attendees and industry professionals competing, along with potential announcements for the next games in the series, Madu Monogatari and Puyo Puyo 2. In the CD releases, we see a focus on game-related music and popular artists. The highly anticipated soundtrack for Sylphid is highlighted, noted for its luxurious booklet and clear sound quality not possible in the original game. Other CD releases feature artists like Naoyuki Fuji, Ribbon, Tokyo Performance Doll, Fumina Hisamatsu, and Shoko Suzuki. Of particular interest is the inclusion of a CD featuring music from Castlevania, Rondo of Blood, Akumaju Dracula X, including arranged tracks from the X68000 version. The video section features a video release based on the movie Driving High, starring Yoko Minamino, which includes intense race scenes. There's also a video titled Samurai Spirits 12 Swordsman Legends, compiling character techniques, famous scenes, and special moves with narration from the voice actors, offering tips for mastering the game. Rounding out the news are reports on the establishment of a new game software department at Tokyo Technical College, and a brief mention of an animated movie, Hanabono, adapted from a popular manga, praised for its subtle charm and heartwarming feel. There's also a highlight on new Sonic merchandise, including a trainer sweatshirt from Gunzi, just in time for winter. This page features the 18th installment of the BeepMD detective team, taking a nostalgic look back at memorable Sega commercials. Due to a lack of new CMS this month, the team is revisiting classics, starting with the surreal Mega Drive CM for Osomatsu-kun. This commercial features a bizarre combination of commentator Seiichi Ito's narration and strange game footage, creating a laugh-out-loud effect. Next up are the Sega Mark II ICMS, highlighted as CM Graffiti. The focus is on the impactful Fist of the North Star commercial, which is famous for depicting iconic scenes from the anime and reportedly drove many people to buy the console itself. Other Mark II ICMS promoting gold cartridges are also featured. Finally, the detective team report touches on gathering information, focusing on people who appeared in past CMS like Fantasy Zone and Hangin', revisiting the individuals behind these classic advertisements. The report also mentions a present giveaway related to Mark II software. Overall, the page is a fun, retrospective dive into Sega's unique advertising history. This page is Volume 5 of The Scene of J-League, reflecting on Japan's failure to qualify for the World Cup with the title, Regret, Japan National Team's World Cup Dream, Broken. However, the main focus shifts to the ongoing J-League, specifically the second half of the second stage. The article asks, who will stop the high-flying Espanyol? Quote, it highlights Espanyol's excellent form, which propelled them to the top of the second stage standings. Key factors mentioned for Espanyol's success include the contributions of players like Edu, Sidmar, and Gomes, who have strengthened their defense. The page includes photos of players in action and a stadium view. There are tables showing the league standings, where Espanyol is currently leading, followed by Verdi and Antlers. A separate table lists the top scorers, featuring prominent players like Diaz, Alshindo, and King Kazoo. The article discusses the competitive race at the top, noting that even teams like Antlers, despite being considered inconsistent, remain in contention. It anticipates exciting play throughout the remainder of the season. A section titled J.League Quiz Mega Calcio invites readers to predict the results of upcoming matches, including Jeff vs. Reds, Marinos vs. Gamba, Espanyol vs. Grampus, and Sanfrecce vs. Verdi. This likely ties into a contest related to the Mega Calcio game series. The page captures the mixed emotions of the time, balancing disappointment over the national team with excitement for the domestic league action. This page is Volume 7 of Mega Racing Freak, focusing on the 1993 All-Japan F3000 Championship Series. The page highlights the intense championship battle nearing its conclusion. Key drivers like Hoshino, Suzuki, Irvine, and Achipichura are mentioned as being in contention for the title. The article discusses the fluctuating points lead and the excitement building towards the final races at Fuji and Suzuka. It notes that the unique point system makes the championship outcome unpredictable. The page features several photos of the racing action, including 3,000 cars on the track and in the pits, as well as race queens, and a podium celebration. It is a brief mention of the Mega Drive game, Street Fighter 2-Plus. The text emphasizes the fierce competition among the top drivers as they vie for the championship crown. This page provides an exciting update from the arcade world, highlighting two major upcoming Sega titles under the BeepMD network banner. The main feature unveils new details and screenshots for Virtua Fighter, Sega's revolutionary 3D polygonal fighting game. The article expresses amazement at the dynamic, never-before-seen visuals, suggesting they will redefine perceptions of the game. It emphasizes the simple, intuitive controls, using only 3 buttons: punch, kick, guard, and a stick, promising an exhilarating experience upon play. The text mentions its development is progressing, and anticipation is high for its release next month, noting its potential to change the fighting game landscape currently dominated by titles like Street Fighter 2-Plus. The page also celebrates the arrival of Sega Sonic the Hedgehog in the arcades. This is an action game featuring Sonic alongside new friends, Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel, as they try to escape drive Robotnik's grasp across 7 stages. A key innovative feature is the game's control scheme, utilizing a trackball. It also supports simultaneous 3-player gameplay, promising an expanded and fun Sonic experience. Screenshots showcase various stages, including icy landscapes and desert areas, giving a glimpse into the diverse environments players will navigate using the trackball controls. This page details a significant joint development project between Fuji Television and Sega, resulting in a Formula One racing game titled Heavenly Symphony for the Mega CD. The article highlights the game's focus on extreme realism, achieved through 3D calculations and detailed graphics that include elements like realistic tire tracks, billboards, and dynamic wet/dry course conditions. It emphasizes the use of CD sound and comprehensive data covering courses, drivers, settings, and even events from the 1993 season. The page features a press conference announcing the project, showing representatives from both Fuji Television and Sega. It also introduces Mr. Kawai Kazuhito as a special advisor, including a quote where he discusses aiming for ultimate realism beyond previous From 1 games, and the game's potential for training new drivers by helping them learn courses and visualize runs. The release is scheduled for April '94 on the Mega CD. This page provides a preview of Langrisser 2, the sequel to the acclaimed strategy RPG, Warsong. The article announces that development is progressing steadily, promising lots of new information. It highlights that while system details are still being finalized, they can show magic and setting screens, as well as battle scenes. The current screenshots are noted as being created using a graphic tool, implying the final game graphics may differ. The page features several screenshots demonstrating different battle situations and magic effects like thunder and force heal. Character introductions are a major focus, with illustrations and descriptions for key figures. Jessica, the great sorceress who appeared in the previous game, is back and central to the story, knowing everything about the sacred sword Langrisser and the demon sword Alhazard. 2 new characters are introduced: Rihanna, a maiden crucial to unsealing the sacred sword, and Lana, the dark princess serving the Dark Master Bozel, who is said to have a kind heart beneath her servitude. The return of key items and characters from the first game is mentioned, building anticipation. This page features the latest information corner for the Mega Drive version of Virtua Racing. Development is progressing well, indicated by a 70% completion gauge, and confirms the inclusion of a 2-player simultaneous play mode. The article reveals new screenshots for the medium and expert courses, showcasing the game's polygonal graphics. While screens of the 2P battle mode couldn't be shown, it's confirmed to be impressive, offering customization options like lap counts, 5 to 20, no time limits, and 5 grip settings for handicapping. They are aiming for a year-end completion. A detailed look at the medium course highlights its visually appealing features, including grade-separated intersections and the unexpected inclusion of 2 cows near the windmill, which was previously thought impossible due to polygon limits. Despite occasional object pop-in, the course is described as rewarding to race. Finishing first allows players to view a 5-lap replay, which can be skipped. The page includes a series of screenshots showing various points along the medium course, from the bridge start to the tunnel, windmill, and a challenging curve. Assistant Manager Nagata is featured, confirming the demo was shown. This page continues the deep dive into the Mega Drive version of Virtua Racing, focusing on the challenging Expert course. It's described as the hardest of the 3 courses, set against a Mediterranean backdrop with coastal and mountain sections. A key detail highlighted is that crashing in this course will actually damage the car's cowl, impacting performance. The article shows several screenshots depicting the course's layout, including views of Greek-style architecture and yachts, and even mentions that previously thought impossible elements, like signboard art, are included. Beyond the Expert course, the page encourages players to experiment with various features once they own the game. It briefly touches on the previously mentioned 3-button pad support, with consideration for 6-button compatibility. The page also details the manual transmission option, explaining how to access it, and noting it allows for a slightly higher top speed compared to automatic, with slipstreaming providing an additional boost. Screenshots illustrate the manual gear display, further showcasing the game's surprising detail. The page features a section dedicated to the polygon cows seen in the medium course, mentioned on the previous page, confirming they are indeed included and highlighting their polygonal construction. Finally, the damaged cow feature on the Expert course is shown, explaining that the damage is visual and affects aerodynamics and acceleration in stages. The article emphasizes how faithfully the Mega Drive version reproduces elements from the arcade. This page continues our in-depth look at the Mega Drive version of Virtua Racing, diving into more exciting details and addressing fan questions. First, we see a breakdown of the viewpoint options. You can switch between 3 distinct camera angles using the C button and DPAD, allowing you to race from your preferred perspective, a feature faithfully recreated from the arcade. The article also highlights the impressive technical depth, revealing that the arcade version's data for 120 items, including car weight, tire grip, and engine performance, has been completely transferred to the Mega Drive. This isn't just a graphical port. It's simulating the car physics based on extensive data. Sound is also covered, confirming the use of FM sound for the engine noises, with efforts made to replicate the arcade's audio, including selectable sound types. Rival cars are discussed as well. They have varied top speeds and braking, forcing you to find your own line, though they generally get out of your way. The pit crew sequence is also included, adding to the arcade authenticity. Finally, the page features a section with reader feedback and developer responses. Fans ask about features like a high-speed turbo mode, technically possible but hard to balance, custom machine colors, confirmed for the Mega Drive version, and weather effects like rain, something they wanted but found graphically challenging. It's clear the developers pushed the limits to bring the arcade experience home, while considering player feedback. This page features an interview with Reiko Chiba, a popular young talent, focusing on her passion for video games. The images show her in an arcade setting, highlighting her connection to the gaming world. Reiko reveals her deep love for games started in junior high. She discovered the arcade hit Outrun in high school, and became so dedicated she frequented the game center daily, mastering the controls and mechanics. She currently enjoys Outrunners, particularly the competitive battles. Beyond arcades, she owns almost every home console and has aspirations to become a game writer. She also talks about her work, including voice acting for titles like the Mega CD version of Record of Lodoss War and the Japanese show Dinosaur Squadron Zyranger, which later became Power Rangers. Looking to the future, Reiko expresses a strong desire to manage a game center and even start her own game company, demonstrating just how central gaming is to her life and ambitions. This page is a new release scramble showcasing upcoming games. The main focus is on 2 titles, Sonic Spinball and Air Management 2. Sonic Spinball takes the popular pinball-style zones from the main Sonic series and expands them into a full, action-packed pinball game. While it's pinball, Sonic retains his ability to jump and use the Super Dash, keeping the familiar controls. The page features several screenshots showing different themed boards and encounters with Dr. Robotnik, Eggman. It also mentions Tails will appear, adding to the excitement. Air Management 2 is an airline simulation game where you build and manage your own airline company. You expand routes globally and make strategic decisions in meetings with executives. The game promises improvements over its predecessor, including more realistic scheduling and the addition of airports, which are highlighted as a major enhancement. Screenshots show a world map view of routes, a city management screen, and a scene in the meeting room, It highlights the fun and challenge of being the company president. Also listed are other upcoming titles, including Flashback, Super Baseball 2020, The Flintstones, PGA Tour Golf, Boogie Woogie Bowling, Aero the Acrobat, and Awesome Possum. This page features a new release scramble, highlighting several upcoming titles. First up is Flashback, which was a big hit in America and is now localized into Japanese, nearing release. The article praises its smooth polygon character animation, feeling like an SEF movie, with exciting story development and fitting music. It highlights the game's deep appeal, which can't be fully conveyed by screenshots, and the unique worldview that fans will love. The main character, Conrad, is an investigator for the Galactic Federation whose memory was erased after uncovering a major secret. Next is Super Baseball 2020. The article notes that unlike many previous E-Victor games with a strong overseas flavor, this one, originally from Neo Geo, is a bit different. It mentions the operation feels familiar like Famicom games, NES. And it's well balanced, making it a game anyone can enjoy. Screenshots show the futuristic baseball setting with robot players, and highlights moments like on-field repairs and home runs shown with a backscreen effect. Finally, there's The Flintstones, an action game based on the classic American cartoon, surprisingly released by Taito at a very low price. Fred is the main character, who gets caught up in various requests, starting with his wife. Screenshots show Fred in action, using a club and interacting with the prehistoric environment and creatures, like hitting a snake's head to use as a step, or encountering a dinosaur on the beach. This page features a new release scramble, previewing upcoming Sega Mega Drive games. It highlights Masters Golf, known as Harukanaru Augusta in Japan, a new entry in T&E Soft's golf simulation series, featuring courses like Pebble Beach. Next is Boogie Woogie Bowling from Visco, a delayed release promising expressive character graphics and simultaneous 4-player support. Sunsoft of America's action platformer Aero the Acrobat is also featured, arriving in Japan with its circus-themed stages and acrobatic protagonists fighting evil. The page also looks at Tenjin's Awesome Possum Kicks, Drive Makino's Butt, an environmental action game where you play a talking possum, uniquely including environmental quizzes. The new release scoop section teases further releases, including a Crayon Shin-Chan action game, new sports titles from Acclaim Japan like J-League Pro Striker, and anticipated sequels like Streets of Rage 3, Bare Knuckle 2-1, and Outrunners. This page announces the start of voting for the 5th Mega Drive Academy Awards, a fan-voted event celebrating the best games released on the console and Mega CD between November 1992 and November 1993. This year marks the addition of a new sports game category, bringing the total to 21 awards. The page also takes a look back at some of the previous winners to give readers an idea of the competition. Highlighted past champions include the tactical RPG Shining Force, the intense shooter Thunder Force IV, the vibrant platformer Rystar, the historical simulation Nobunaga's Ambition, the unique Magical Girl Adventure Magical Girl Silky Lip, the impressive arcade port Thunderstorm FX, and the beloved RPG Lunar, the Silver Star. The page showcases screenshots from these past winning titles, such as the battlefield tactics of Shining Force, the frantic spaceship action of Thunder Force IV, Rystar's quirky appearance, detailed simulation maps in Nobunaga's Ambition, a golf or racing scene for the new sports category, and the pixel art world of Lunar. It's a call to action for fans to cast their votes for the top games of the year across various genres. This page details the 5th Mega Drive Academy Awards, inviting fan votes for the best games released in the past year across 21 categories, including a new sports award, while reviewing previous winners. The 5th Mega Drive Academy Awards feature categories recognizing various game aspects. Past winners include Lunar, the Silver Star, Music Scenario, Thunder Force IV Graphics, and Landstalker Idea. New categories include Best Technical and Baka Game. Awards cover music, graphics, scenario, ideas, technical skill, package, art, characters, male and female, enemies, items, and sensational topics. Voting is open until November 20th via postcard, with prizes including a Mega CD2 console, software, and phone cards. This page details the extensive list of nominations for the 5th Mega Drive Academy Awards, picking up from the introduction on the previous page. A massive 115 titles are listed, showcasing the incredible volume of games released for the system over the past year. Looking through the nominees, you see many iconic titles like Streets of Rage 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Thunder Force IV, Echo the Dolphin, and Street Fighter II Special Champion Edition, alongside a huge variety of other games across all genres. On the right, the specific award categories are laid out, allowing voters to choose their favorites in areas such as Best Overall, Shooting, Action, RPG, Simulation, and Sports Games, as well as awards for technical skill, scenario, graphics, and even specific elements like Best Character, Enemy, and Item. The unique Baka Game Award is also listed here, alongside a category for sensational topics.
The voting form itself is also visible, ready for fans to make their picks.
This page is the Nokon Shinbun, Volume 8, from November 8, 1993. A reader-focused section presented by Compile. It's filled with fan letters and illustrations, alongside updates directly from the company. A major highlight is the announcement and feature on Madu Monogatari E for the Game Gear, confirming its release date of November 26. There's also mention of Madu Monogatari Rs for the PC-98 being expected in November, eagerly anticipated by fans. The section includes reader artwork and feedback related to the Madu Monogatari series, and Puyo Puyo, showing the strong connection fans felt with Compile's characters like Arle Naja. A significant event is detailed. The Puyo Puyo Festival, scheduled for November 14, 1993, in Shibuya, Tokyo. This free event for up to 400 participants promises various activities, including a Puyo Puyo competition, a cosplay contest, and a magazine showdown, with prizes including a Sega Mega Drive and Mega CD system. Reader submissions range from excitement about upcoming releases to requests, including a specific plea for a Mega CD version of Madu Monogatari. Compile's KMI addresses this, suggesting the possibility depends on the success of Madu Monogatari, and that she's even brought it up to the company president. The page captures the vibrant fan community surrounding Compile's popular series at the time. This page is the Beepland section, starting with a reflection on how the end of the year always feels like time is passing too quickly. The section is filled with reader letters and responses from the magazine staff member, Nemo. Readers share various experiences. One kid's mother finally tells him to stop playing Mega Drive so much. Another laments missing a chance to see under a miniskirt and feels the harshness of the world. Someone acquired a Sega Lynx handheld with a couple of games. And another reader sent in the Sega SG-1002 game Golgo 13, prompting Nemo's excited reaction and a small screenshot of the game. Nemo comments on one reader's question about writing in, offering tips on how to increase their chances of being featured. There's also mention of SCSG software, referring to SG-1000 games, being sold at Oita Station, which Nemo regretfully notes has been depleted due to others buying them all up. Featured as this month's BGM is Under Skull Mountain from Chameleon Kid for the Mega Drive. The commentary describes the music as dully cool and highlights the sound effect die that plays during the stage, suggesting it's perfect for anyone who needs a kick to get motivated. Overall, it's a lively reader mailbag section covering a range of gaming and life topics, filtered through the distinct voice of Nemo. This page continues the Beepland section, featuring more reader contributions and magazine commentary. The top section, Illustration City, showcases reader artwork with brief descriptions and comments, touching on various subjects in games like Dark Wizard and Nobunaga's Ambition. The main body dives into MD rumors and truths, sharing various quirky and sometimes outlandish rumors circulating within the Mega Drive community. It mentions that Michael Jackson's game has an age restriction, speculates that Dhalsim is involved with animal protection, and lists numerous rumors about Sega games and figures. Highlights include the rumor that Max from Streets of Rage 3 becomes mayor, various characters from Phantasy Star IV merging, and theories about developer Treasure's connection to Sega. It humorously notes the rumor about the era of Alex Kidd returning. There's also a small section announcing a prize giveaway of a recorded gameplay videotape from the BeepMD staff for a previous issue's recruitment. Finally, the Mega Driver slang section explains unique terms used by fans. It defines black belt as meaning a beginner, ties it to Street Fighter II Plus, and explains Langrisser return as when a game gets ported to another console with significant upgrades. It also briefly covers terms like Kureshiteru for having bad taste, and a proverb involving Rastan about giving strong items to weak characters being pointless. The next page features the conclusion of the That Wonderful Scene monthly series, wrapping up reader submissions about their favorite game moments. It then delves into reader commentary on specific games. One highlights the realistic depiction of the monk's death in Ninja Gaiden. Another discusses a memorable character transformation in a demo scene from Slime World or Microcosm. And there's a note on a death scene in Zoo Rescue Operation. A fun section titled Megadora Gichan Mania includes illustrations featuring a cool drawing of the fated showdown between Sonic and Metal Sonic. Below that is a brief message stating that something cannot be shown. Towards the bottom, a section dedicated to longtime Sega fans reflects on classic hardware predating the Genesis, such as the SG-1000 and Mark II-I, inviting readers to share memories. The information section provides magazine updates and reader corners, covering community gossip, guidelines for submitting illustrations, a special segment for dedicated fans, a lookout for rare Sega items like the B Megaphone, and a call for submissions of lyrics or parodies for Genesis game music. The page concludes by stating, "These sections will continue." This page discusses the challenges of buying Genesis games in Japan. One section covers issues with local game shops, citing poor stock, low staff knowledge about the system, difficulty pre-ordering popular titles like Gunstar Heroes, and a lack of demo units or playable games in stores outside major cities. It contrasts this with CD stores, where pre-orders are easy and stock is reliable, urging Sega and retailers to improve game distribution. Another section focuses on Sonic the Hedgehog 2, hinting at new stages and content. The page also features Illustration City Part 2, showcasing reader-submitted artwork. These illustrations include depictions of Sonic characters and designs that resemble those from Shin Megami Tensei, along with other original characters, accompanied by brief notes from the artists. Shorter columns include reader comments, touching on topics like Puyo Puyo and various Genesis experiences. There's also a brief teaser for the next issue's theme, which appears to relate to Re-Cup soccer games or pinball titles. This page features the Reader's Voice section, where Genesis fans share their thoughts on games and the industry. Readers discuss various topics, including opinions on game endings, impressions of titles like Super League and Sonic CD, and expectations for upcoming hardware. One reader highlights the quality of the port of Tecmo Super Bowl. The popularity of Puyo Puyo is also evident, with one user crediting it for their entry into the Genesis world and interest in the Mega CD, specifically hoping for a Puyo Puyo release on the add-on. Another reader expresses confusion over complex controller inputs, referencing moves similar to those in Street Fighter II. The page also includes reader illustrations, featuring characters that resemble Axel, Skate, Blaze, and Max from the Streets of Rage series. Instructions for submitting letters and artwork are provided, along with a brief list of prize winners and corrections from previous issues. This page is a special Magazine Jack feature, allowing third-party developers Success and Sammy to directly share content with readers. It's a chance for them to present their games and characters in a fun, unrestricted way. First up is the section from Success, showcasing characters likely from one of their upcoming or recent titles. You see designs for several anime-style girls and some unique creatures, including a boss named Carmen and his pet, Cookie, described as a mischievous imp who hates Wi-Fi. Likely a typo and meant something else, maybe something like weak enemies or defeat. There's also mention of a character named Silk who appeared in the game's ending. Following that is the Sammy Corporation section, focusing on what they call Return of Fighting Masters 2. This seems to be a fighting game, or a series in the genre. They mention its second iteration, and briefly feature two characters.
Flamer, depicted as a beast-like fighter and representative of Planet Odd, who is both a friend and rival to a character named Asaniate and fights to protect his younger sister, and Valgus, shown as a large, imposing figure described as the greatest and strongest cosmic demon god who sealed himself away. They also reference a showing of Sengoku Denshu, at a recent event. It's cool to see developers giving players a direct look at their work and characters like this. There's also an address provided, if you want to reach out to Sammy. This page dives into the Nichibutsu and Sandstorm corners. First, the Nichibutsu section covers an F1 quiz tied to the end of the 1993 season, announcing the winners who answered correctly that the Portugal GP was Portimao, or perhaps the race itself. Only 6 out of 43 entries got it right. It touches upon the season finale, mentioning Prost's retirement and Hill joining Williams, and speculates on the driver lineup for the next year, including Senna, Hakkinen,
and Schumacher. There's also anticipation for the release of the F1 Circus CD game, with a photo of a person, likely Zanardi, after crashing, holding the game case. Below that, the Sandstorm segment expresses a feeling of burnout or lethargy, specifically linked to the completion of the Mega CD game Allshark. The author highlights a cryptic sound that plays right at the beginning of the game and encourages everyone to play it to understand. There's a drawing showing excitement about buying the Mega CD Allshark. This page features the Sonic Sushin section, celebrating the release of Shining Force 2. The main content is a humorous discussion among the magazine's contributors about the game's launch and the surprising fact that their dedicated section has shrunk down to just one page, dramatically calling it a crisis of survival. Following the discussion, the Sonic Sushin Mania fan corner is highlighted. It announces that Shining Force 2 has been out for a month and asks readers if they've managed to recruit all the secret characters, acknowledging it's quite difficult. The corner is actively seeking fan submissions, particularly encouraging readers to show off their customized characters with illustrations, humorously titled, My Character Pride. Submissions for other segments like the Proverb Dojo are also still welcome. Despite the reduced page count, the team asks for continued support from readers. The page is decorated with various fan-submitted artwork related to Shining Force 2 and a comic strip in the Kurihara corner. This page features the Konami's Room User Hotline corner, written by T. Hayasaka. The main topic is celebrating the first anniversary of Konami entering the Sega Genesis market. The author reflects on their first Genesis title, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Hyperstone Heist, and the unexpected reaction from users asking why it was a TMNT game. As a newcomer to Genesis public relations, the author found themselves caught between users and the company's stance. The section also highlights the release of Rocket Knight Adventures, which had a large-scale commercial campaign. Further down, the Sister Hayasaka's Trouble Consulting corner addresses reader questions. One reader asks if Konami only cares about making money, implying they don't fully support the Genesis compared to the Super Nintendo. Hayasaka strongly denies this, stating that making money is not the only goal, and emphasizes the desire for users to enjoy their games on multiple platforms, including the Genesis. The page also includes small humorous illustrations related to the Genesis and CD attachment, and a call for reader submissions for requests, illustrations, or further questions for the corner. This page features a mail-order catalog from the Sega specialty store Santa, listing prices for new Sega Genesis, Sega CD, and Game Gear releases, with details on ordering and delivery. This page features a dynamic illustration for the highly anticipated RPG, Phantasy Star IV, The End of the Millennium, showcasing the main characters Rika, Chaz, and Rune, poised for battle against a formidable, monstrous foe. The game, a major Sega release, is highlighted as being fully developed and on the cusp of its December 17th launch in Japan, priced at 8,800 yen for a 24 megabit cartridge with battery backup. This issue promises a comprehensive story guide, providing eager fans a deep dive into the game's narrative and mechanics before they can get their hands on it. The bottom section offers glimpses into the game through various small screenshots, illustrating different scenes and characters from the adventure. This page continues the deep dive into Phantasy Star IV, The End of the Millennium, highlighting several key features that define this epic RPG experience. First, the stage is set in the Algol solar system, taking place chronologically between Phantasy Star II and Phantasy Star II-I. This narrative choice explains why the game was initially planned as PSIV, but later received its unique subtitle, emphasizing it's the culmination of the series' story rather than a direct sequel to PS2I. The party system features a core group of 5 characters, a shift from previous entries, with specific roles crucial to the unfolding story. Unlike PS2 where you could swap many characters, here the core 5 guide you through the main plot. If you ever find yourself stuck, a handy talk command allows your party members to offer hints and guidance, a welcome feature to keep the adventure moving. The game is estimated to take around 30 hours to clear, though multiple scenarios are available, suggesting replayability or branching paths. Save points are implemented in 3 different ways, making saving progress Convenient. A major selling point is the multi-window system used for event scenes, presenting the narrative through dynamic comic book-style panels, which significantly enhances the game's presentation and atmosphere. Other helpful systems include adjustable message speed and customizable button configurations, ensuring a smooth and personalized gameplay experience. The screenshots show various scenes, including battle layouts, town exploration, and dialogue sequences, giving a clear look at the game's presentation. This page continues the deep dive into Phantasy Star IV, highlighting more exciting gameplay mechanics. This page details key battle features, including the refined command system, hidden combination techniques, dynamic technique and special skill animations, and the unique machine battles. The battle command system builds on Phantasy Star II, simplifying the core actions while introducing a powerful macro system, allowing players to pre-register sequences of commands for easy execution. A fascinating addition is the hidden combination battle system, where issuing specific techniques to multiple characters in the right order and timing can unleash secret, powerful effects not detailed in the manual, encouraging player experimentation. Technique and special skill animations are a major visual draw, featuring impressive, fully animated sequences for a wide variety of attacks. Finally, the game features exciting machine battles where the party pilots one of three nostalgic vehicles: Landmaster, Ice Digger, Hovercraft. In these battles, the machine absorbs damage via shield points, SP, making the party effectively invincible and offering a strategic layer to combat. Machine battles also feature their own engaging animations.
This page serves as a story guide for the early portion of Phantasy Star IV, warning players that it contains spoilers for the game's beginning. The guide opens with a prologue, introducing Rudy, a rookie hunter making his debut, and his mentor Leela. Their first mission comes from the head of Motavia Academy. Rudy is excited despite the lack of details, and the game begins with them heading towards the academy. The journey takes them to the town of Piata. Upon arrival, the player gains control of Rudy, learning basic movement and interaction. A brief comical separation occurs, where Leela is momentarily lost but quickly found nearby, providing a simple objective that reinforces player control. The page also introduces the main characters. Rudy Ashur, the game's protagonist, a former street kid taken in by Leela, now starting his career as a hunter, and Leela Branwyn, a highly skilled and tough mentor who raised Rudy. She specializes in projectile weapons. Character portraits and initial status screens are shown alongside descriptions of their roles in the story.
This page continues the guide for Phantasy Star IV, focusing on exploration and the main quest in Piata and the Academy. After teaming up with Leela, you're encouraged to explore the town and Academy thoroughly, checking everything from bookshelves and desks to speaking with NPCs. There are hidden message lines and interesting points to discover, including a reference to Dr. Lubin, a figure from 2,000 years ago. The shops in Piata are highlighted as convenient. Hovering the cursor over items shows their effects, or who can equip them, a small but helpful feature. The main objective unfolds as you meet the Academy principal. He reveals that mysterious monsters have appeared within the Academy over the past month, and asks you to eliminate them. However, the principal seems highly agitated and perhaps hiding something, which Rudy and Leela find suspicious. The game's multi-window dialogue system is noted for enhancing the tension of this conversation. Following this, you meet Han Marley at the entrance to the Academy's underground area. Han, an assistant to Professor Holt, is worried because the professor went to Parsec Bay to investigate, and communication has been lost. Han also senses something is amiss with the principal's behavior and the monster situation. He joins the party, adding a new dynamic. Han's profile shows he's initially strong in techniques, but can become a capable attacker, making him a valuable addition. This Phantasy Star IV guide details the Academy dungeon, accessible after Han joins the party. The dungeon, while not complex, is dark and requires caution. Players should level up once before proceeding. Key enemies include the weak Xanophark, the slightly tougher Zoran Balto, and the final boss, Iglanova. The guide provides monster stats and descriptions. The mysterious Zio, a dark sorcerer, is revealed as the mastermind behind the monster outbreak, cultivating Iglanova in underground capsules. He seemingly turned Parsec Bay investigators and Professor Holt to stone. The guide concludes by prompting players to travel to Parsec Bay to confront Zio, emphasizing the importance of learned skills. This Phantasy Star IV guide details the journey to Parsec Bay, starting with Mile Village, a crucial stop for weapon upgrades. Rumors about Zima circulate, suggesting trouble. Recommended equipment setups for Alice, Chaz, Rune, or Grise are given, including attack-focused and balanced options.
A price list for local shops is included. Zima is found entirely petrified, victims of Zeo. Only 2 children remain. Parsec Bay, a straightforward dungeon, houses more petrified victims, including Professor Holt. The dungeon features flutter plants, weak to fire, and recurring Xanapharc. Al-Shurin, a cure for petrification, is needed. This page features a developer interview for Phantasy Star IV titled, "Thank you for your hard work." Developer interview. The interview includes insights from developers like Kodama, Nishiyama, and Sugawa, who discuss the game's completion. They touch upon the challenges faced during development, such as pushing the limits of the 24 MB cartridge size, but express satisfaction in realizing their vision for the Algol solar system story. They highlight enhancements like more dynamic battle scenes and animations compared to previous entries, and emphasize the strategic depth of the new systems like macros and combination attacks. The page also includes a section on official merchandise, now available via mail order. This includes sound collection creeds, featuring arranged music from Phantasy Star I, II, and II-I, as well as IV, an original illustration book, and character goods like t-shirts and bandanas. Another section reports on visiting the recording studio for the Phantasy Star music creeds. It features photos of the music staff and discusses how the arranged tracks allowed them to achieve sounds not possible within the constraints of the game hardware, encouraging fans to compare the CD arrangements to the in-game music. Images on the page show the world map of Algol, a battle screenshot featuring Chaz, Alice, and Rune, and photos of the development and music teams. This page is Act 26 of the Sega Falcom Communications section, featuring updates on upcoming games from Sega and Falcom. The main focus is on the status of 2 titles, Hyperload Monarch, described as nearing completion and a strategy game, and Mail, which is clarified later as Popful Mail. An interview with Mr. Yakino discusses both games. He states Popful Mail is also nearing completion but is now slated for early next year, apologizing for the delay and promising quality. He confirms that the Load Monarch-related game will be released on cartridge, explaining that while the original Load Monarch has a system-driven world, Popful Mail features a story progression more like an RPG. He also touches on the maps and speed enhancements in the new Load Monarch title. Additionally, Mr. Yakino provides his perspective in a column about the struggling domestic Japanese game market, noting the difficulty even established software faces in selling. He reflects on producing Popful Mail for the Mega CD and questions why users aren't buying software. He stresses the need for Sega Falcom fans to support the releases to prove that good software can still succeed. The page includes a character illustration, likely from Popful Mail, and a photo of Mr. Yakino himself, along with an address for reader submissions. This page marks the debut of the Planet Sega Stadium section, presented by Sega, starting with its inaugural issue number 0. Sonic the Hedgehog kicks things off, announcing an exciting new series set to begin in the very next issue. The main feature is a guest's greeting from Sega's HE publicity team. They express excitement about launching this dedicated section, introduce some of the key staff members, including the B-Mega representative, and share their background in gaming and their vision for the page, keeping it engaging and not overly serious. They highlight some cool games like the intense shooter Gun Frontier, the classic platformer Aladdin, and the atmospheric adventure Umemi Yakata, known internationally as Mansion of Hidden Souls or similar. The page also includes photos showing Sega staff at work in their office, giving a glimpse behind the scenes. Below that, there's a special present project to celebrate the new series, and the recent power-up of Sega's Joy Joy telephone service, which has expanded with new regional branches. The contest challenges readers to identify the Joy Joy telephone gal from 4 featured candidates: Miss S, Miss E, Miss G, and Miss A. Readers can enter by postcard for a chance to win a video short magazine, with 10 winners chosen from correct answers. The deadline for entries is the end of October. Voice actress Megumi Hayashibara may get her own magazine corner, thanks to fan demand. Readers are encouraged to suggest ideas for other features, including a manga section, game terminology, and a Sega Q and a Pankaba. The magazine also spotlights Elzado, a game shop near Chiba Station, praised for its selection of new and rare games, and competitive pricing. The shop offers a Sega-themed arcade and a prize giveaway for the first 10 customers, spending over 10,000 yen,
a Casio G-Shock watch. This page is the Treasure Factory section, dedicated to the developer treasure. It focuses primarily on feedback for the recently released Gunstar Heroes. Readers send in postcards sharing their impressions of the game, praising its intense action, shooting mechanics, impressive direction, and memorable characters, including a shout-out to the Pink Team. The comics show characters reacting to the game's popularity and how quickly it sold out, making it difficult for fans and even Treasure staff to get copies. The section also teases Treasure's next project, which is noted as the second McDonald's game, likely referring to McDonald's Treasureland adventure, and asks for continued feedback from readers. This page features a technical industry lecture focusing on 3D graphics and polygon rendering techniques. Around the page are various shorter sections, including humorous comic strips and personal anecdotes, such as a comic following up on the developer Treasure, and humorous self-introductions for a group called Team Mad. There is a review of the game Tasmania, the backyard genius for the Mega Drive, highlighting its animation based on the Warner Brothers character and its sound design. The page also includes a personal essay from a gamer who recounts playing Super Street Fighter II and getting first place, and a humorous story about planning to play Puyo Puyo but getting distracted by McDonald's. Finally, editor's notes thank readers for their feedback on Gunstar Heroes and encourage submissions to the Treasure section. This page features a column by Eric C. Sedensky, an American expatriate, titled Hooked, Game Experience Log, focusing this time on the game's Sylpheed. Eric shares his experience playing this high-speed shooter, praising its detailed 3D polygon graphics and exciting soundtrack. He notes that the game's voice acting, while adding atmosphere, uses challenging English that includes both military jargon and, surprisingly, some strong language or four-letter words. He provides examples of the sometimes crude dialogue heard during gameplay. The article delves into the importance of understanding the communications from the player's unit, the Topaz Squadron, explaining various in-game voice messages related to enemy encounters, missile attacks, and evasive maneuvers. Eric points out the interesting mix of regional accents among the voice actors, including an American Southern accent and a distinct British one, which he feels adds to the game's charm. He emphasizes that even a basic grasp of these voice commands and exchanges significantly enhances the gaming experience, and he hopes his column encourages readers to take an interest in English. The page also includes a caricature illustration related to the game and a small screenshot. Jam Ojisan's column, 1 Year of the Ogre, analyzes the game industry's recent shifts. Acknowledging a lull in the Mega Drive market, the author sees renewed energy from new hardware announcements. He stresses a need for measured analysis in the current market turbulence. The column explores Sega's partnership with Hitachi, speculating about their motivations, and Sega's upcoming 32-bit machine with a RISC chip and 4X Crescedrom drive. It also delves into the 3DO, a third-generation game console with involvement from Panasonic, AT, and TIT, and Electronic Arts, highlighting its potentially lower software costs as a challenge to Sega and Nintendo's models. The article concludes with a call for reader questions. This page is a technical deep dive into Sega's recently announced next-generation hardware, which would become known as the Sega Saturn. Penned by Akinoki Nihyaku, it's titled The Bleeding Edge Enthusiast's Page, and acts as a multimedia declaration, analyzing the core specs of the new system. The author reflects on his previous predictions for the next Mega Drive, expressing surprise at how accurately they aligned with the official announcement regarding features like the integrated SIDROM drive, 4X Kydrom speed, and the adoption of a 32-bit RISC processor. He highlights the switch to Hitachi's ESH-series RISC chip as a significant point, noting its integrated DSP, digital signal processor, and graphics capabilities. A key focus is placed on the importance of the DSP being built into the main unit, arguing it simplifies software development compared to having it as an external component. The article also touches upon the technical effort behind the 4X Chrondrom speed and the choice of magnetic recording for rewritability, suggesting Sega's serious commitment to the platform. The author notes that the console's predicted price of 7,080,000 yen was significantly lower than expected, coming in under 50,000 yen, and mentions the expanded color depth and support for hybrid recordable Chrondroms as exceeding his earlier predictions. Overall, the page provides an informed perspective on the technical merits and implications of the Sega Saturn's architecture. This page features Rie Sugimoto's Research Room column. The main report is titled, Reunion with the Longed-For Ronald McDonald's. focusing on the Sega Genesis game McDonald's Treasureland Adventure. Riki recounts a recent trip to Taiwan, which inspired her to study Chinese and English to become an international talent. She describes playing McDonald's Treasureland Adventure, noting that the game message can be switched to English. She shares a childhood memory of Ronald McDonald from commercials. During development, she met people from Treasure, the game's developer, and learned about their work. She was initially surprised by the graphics, thinking they might be text-based. But the biggest surprise was discovering that the voice of the girl doing the trapeze in the game was actually performed by a man, which made her decide to pay more attention to voice acting in future games. The page also includes a section on this month's Sugimoto topic, where she talks about her experiences in Taiwan, finding the atmosphere similar to Osaka, and interacting easily with the local people, feeling completely at home. A caption beneath a photo confirms the game as McDonald's Treasureland Adventure by Treasure, and mentions that pressing left, right, A, B, C at the title screen activates the English mode. It notes the game was released on September 23, 1993. Finally, there's a section providing an address for readers to send postcards with messages or entries for a giveaway of a McDonald's item signed by Ri, provided by Treasure. This page presents the new soft schedule, a comprehensive listing of upcoming game releases for the Sega Genesis, Mega Drive, and Mega CD. It's formatted as a large table detailing titles, anticipated release dates, prices, publishers, genres, cartridge size in megabits, and compatibility features like battery backup or mouse support. The schedule covers releases from November of the current year, presumably 1993, given the context of the previous page's game release date, extending through the following months and into undecided future releases. Both the Genesis and Mega CD sections list numerous games across various genres from many different publishers, providing a vital overview for players eager to know what titles are on the horizon. Symbols next to some titles indicate games appearing for the first time or those whose details have changed since the last schedule update, highlighting the dynamic nature of game development and release planning. A legend is included to clarify the genre abbreviations used throughout the list. Overall, this page serves as the go-to resource for fans wanting to stay informed about the exciting lineup of software heading to their Sega consoles. This page continues the new soft schedule, focusing on the Game Gear lineup with a table listing upcoming titles, dates, prices, and other details. It also features a large section titled Soft Maker Information, where various publishers provide brief updates on their projects and plans. The commentary section includes an illustration featuring a character resembling Arle from the Puyo Puyo series, looking scared by some monsters, one of which looks like the character from King of the Monsters. The text here reflects on the challenges of release schedules but highlights upcoming Sega releases, including a specific mention of a complete guidebook coming out. The Soft Maker Information section offers insights from publishers like Sega, who are excited about titles like Night Trap and Aladdin from Mega CD. Acclaim Japan discusses Mortal Kombat, noting its realistic graphics. Crix talks about the DB series and MM2i. Pony Canyon mentions the 3D RPG Eye of the Beholder. Maruba teases a Crayon Shinchan game. Game Arts talks about Sylphide's CD release and a new Urusei Yatsura title. Virgin Games celebrates their 10th month and teases Cool Spot. Data West discusses Original and their unique DAPS replay feature. Micronet mentions their own upcoming work. Koei introduces strategy and puzzle books. Sims promotes Shin Megami Tensei for Mega CD. Victor Entertainment talks about overseas development and Microcosm. Finally, Masaya gives a dramatic update about their activities in Shinjuku. Overall, this page provides a mix of concrete schedule data and anecdotal updates straight from the developers. This page is dedicated to the magazine's reader questionnaire, a vital tool for understanding the audience and their preferences. It provides clear instructions on how to fill out the postcard, asking readers for demographic information such as gender, age, and occupation, alongside details about their gaming habits, specifically how many Mega Drive games they own and which computer game magazines they regularly read. Readers are also encouraged to provide feedback on the current issue, identifying their favorite and least favorite articles. A significant portion of the survey focuses on future purchase plans, asking about game consoles they wish to buy, and listing a vast selection of games for readers to indicate their interest in purchasing. This extensive list features numerous exciting titles, including classics like Phantasy Star IV, Streets of Rage 3, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Castlevania, Bloodlines, Virtual Racing, Flashback, and Eye of the Beholder, alongside some Japanese exclusive titles and laser-active games. Finally, the page includes a list announcing the winners of the Reader Present Lottery for the October issue, detailing the names and prefectures of the fortunate individuals. This entire page serves as a comprehensive feedback mechanism for the magazine to gauge reader interests and plan future content. This page showcases the growing library for the laser-active system, a platform the magazine previously mentioned was being discussed by readers. The article highlights several new titles expected to release in December, expanding the gaming and multimedia options available. Featured prominently is Rocket Coaster, a 3D racing game developed by Taito that puts players on a thrilling roller coaster ride through different fantasy worlds, including magical realms and dinosaur habitats. Players must clear stages within a time limit across its 9 courses. Another title is 3D Museum by Pioneer, described as an interactive, electric book featuring beautiful natural scenery and ambient sound. It utilizes 3D visual techniques like stereoscopy, allowing viewers to enjoy the experience in a preferred order, aiming to create a relaxing mood. High Roller Battle, a shooter developed by Pioneer, is also presented. This game incorporates RSS, Roland Soundspace, technology for realistic 3D audio positioning during its combat scenes. It mixes CG visuals with live-action footage, creating a unique atmosphere. The article mentions players need to select weapons and fuel before missions, and that the 3D sound system enhances the sense of immersion during gameplay. Finally, under PC Pack information, 2 titles are mentioned for the OM2 format: Angelmate and Dora Dora Paradise. These are described as adult-oriented games, featuring conversation elements and adult scenes unlocked upon winning. This page kicks off the BeepMD Hot Menu Part 1 section, presenting an index of games covered within. The main focus is on the Sega Mega Drive port of Sank's fighting game, Art of Fighting. The review highlights the satisfying feeling of clashing super special moves, and notes the port's 100% completion status with 2-player versus play enabled. It delves into the game's premise in Southtown, following Ryo and Robert as they utilize Kyokugen Karate. The unique super special move and challenge system from the arcade version are discussed, although the article points out the unfortunate lack of the screen zoom/shrink feature in this Mega Drive version. Despite this, the detailed balance of moves, like cancel moves, is praised. Screenshots showcase gameplay, including specific character moves like the Ko-Ken, Hien Senpu Kyaku, Built Upper, and the powerful Ryuko Ranbu super move. A bonus stage, specifically the Ice Pillar Breaking Challenge, is also featured, noting that these stages are available throughout the game's story mode. This page dives deeper into the fighters you'll encounter in Southtown. Within Art of Fighting's Versus mode, the game boasts a roster of 10 fighters, including Ryo and Robert. And here we get detailed profiles on the other 8 challengers. It emphasizes the critical role of the spirit gauge, located above the health bar, which is necessary to perform special moves, adding a strategic layer of managing your energy and exploiting your opponent's weakness. There's also a map of Southtown, hinting at the various locales where battles take place. The focus then shifts to the individual fighters. You'll find profiles for characters like the traditional martial artist Ryu Hakuto, the wrestling powerhouse Jack Turner, the lightning-fast Li Pei Long, the formidable striking expert King, the tough boxer Mickey Rogers, the military combatant John Crawley, and the challenging bosses Mr. Big and the masked Mr. Karate. Each profile provides a glimpse into their background, showcases their unique fighting style with screenshots, and lists their special techniques, from iconic moves like the Hao Shoko Ken to unique attacks such as King's Venom Strike or Mr. Big's Rolling Spear. The developers themselves comment on the Mega Drive port, noting the focus on refining the versus fighting experience and highlighting the inclusion of tough boss characters like Mr. Big and Mr. Karate for players to overcome. This page delves into the surprisingly deep story mode of Dyna Brothers 2, highlighting its 45 distinct stages. Building upon the foundation of the first game, which focused on managing dinosaur units in a simulation setting, the sequel introduces a story demo before gameplay begins. This narrative element significantly enhances the experience by providing clear motivations for the dinosaur factions and the invading alien forces led by Dr. Jura. The reviewer praises how this addition transforms the units from simple icons into beings with a will to live, giving them soul. While acknowledging improvements in controls, map variety, and unit types, the core appreciation lies with the story mode's presence. The page then breaks down 3 critical strategic checkpoints common across modes: Pathfinding and marching covers unit movement, securing areas, and protecting units. Natural commands details utilizing environmental effects like rain or earthquakes for offense, support, or changing the battlefield. Finally, egg creation focuses on strategically producing new dinosaur units, balancing power costs and unit types, like herbivores for early game power generation or carnivores for attack. Screenshots illustrate the gameplay, showing unit management, battles, and environmental effects. This page offers a detailed look at the character relationships within the story mode of Dino Brothers 2, presented as an alien relationship chart to enhance enjoyment of the narrative. It introduces the key players, including the returning antagonist, the Doctor, Hakase, who is determined to conquer Jurastar again with his genetically engineered creations and alien subordinates after his defeat in the previous game. The chart features character profiles for the Doctor, his complex assistant Tiara, various alien troops like Batamon and Paralinchichi, who has his own agenda, and native inhabitants or experiments like Gaogao, Konpokun, Namajiro, Koromonkey, and the Ponpon species. Each profile provides a brief description of their role, personality quirks, and appearance stage. Crucially, the page visualizes the dynamic connections between these characters, using arrows representing concepts such as trust, distrust, utilization, goodwill, and subordinate status. Screenshots show in-game dialogue and interactions, illustrating how these relationships play out and evolve throughout the story. This guide effectively highlights the narrative depth added to the game, moving beyond simple unit management to explore the motivations and changing alliances among the diverse cast as the invasion unfolds. This page dives into Disney's Aladdin for the Sega Mega Drive, hailing it as a challenging action game that leverages Disney's animation skills. The article focuses on providing strategies for the game, particularly highlighting movement techniques like jumping and flying. It offers a stage-by-stage breakdown, advising players to use Stage 1 for practicing essential moves and gathering items for later ease. Stage 2 emphasizes platforming and the critical importance of collecting the scarab item to avoid backtracking. Stage 3 takes the player across Agrabah's rooftops, featuring a high density of enemies and introducing both a small boss and a mid-boss, with specific tactics suggested for each, like hitting the small boss when it's low and using apples against the mid-boss. The page also introduces the key characters involved: Aladdin, the protagonist; Princess Jasmine, his love interest, though primarily a narrative presence; Abu, Aladdin's monkey companion who appears in bonus stages; and the villainous Grand Vizier, Jafar. Screenshots illustrate the vibrant gameplay and the impressive title screen, reinforcing the game's visual fidelity drawn from the movie. The next page continues our look at Disney's Aladdin, detailing the challenges of the later stages and the crucial items you'll need. Stage 4 takes us into the Sultan's dungeon, filled with traps and enemies like self-destructing guards that require careful timing to avoid damage. Stage 5 presents a treacherous cave with falling rocks, but thankfully offers plenty of recovery items to compensate for the damage. Stage 6 tests your platforming skills over dangerous lava pits, emphasizing precise timing over collecting items. Finally, Stage 7 puts you on the magic carpet for a high-speed chase, guided by the genie's hand, where mastering the controls is key to survival. The page also highlights essential items like health-restoring hearts, apples that function as throwable bombs, and jewels that reward you with extra lives or continues. Bonus stage items featuring Genie and Abu are also shown. A preview of subsequent stages teases encounters with Jafar's powerful bull form, navigating treacherous areas with wrecking balls, and facing off against numerous guards. The game designers share a note, highlighting the thrilling escape from a giant rock and the magical carpet saving Aladdin from certain doom in the lava, capturing the exciting moments the game delivers. Aladdin is presented as an action-packed adventure filled with memorable sequences. This page dives into the Mega Drive flight simulator, MiG-29 Fulcrum. It presents the game as a truly serious simulation, aimed at impressing even veterans who feel other console flight games fall short. The core of the page breaks down the first scenario, Red Witch. It walks players through the initial steps, understanding the mission objectives from the briefing, destroying targets, preparing for takeoff, selecting the appropriate weapons, mentioning ground attack as key for this mission, and crucially, how to find your targets using the map and the heads-up display. It highlights that the mission involves destroying all targets at 3 locations and returning to base. The guide also explains the use of the radar, detailing the difference between the long range for overall situational awareness and the short range for nearby threats. Screenshots illustrate the mission briefing, weapon loadout screen, takeoff prompt, targeting display, and the radar interface. The game utilizes polygon-based 3D graphics, similar to its original Amiga version. This page continues the deep dive into the MiG-29 Fulcrum simulation, detailing combat, defense, landing, and essential gameplay tips after the initial setup and target identification covered previously. It first explains how to destroy targets. Find the target indicated by a square reticle, switch to ground attack weapons, and fire. The reticle turning red signifies you are close enough. Next, it covers crucial defense against enemy attacks, highlighting the use of chaff and flares to counter radar and heat-seeking missiles respectively. Against enemy fighters, the advice is clear: shoot first. It also shows how enemy fighters look when detected. The guide then moves to landing, explaining the process of returning to base, following the red marker, reducing speed to about 30% throttle, lowering the gear, and making a gentle approach with brakes applied. Two vital tips are emphasized: carefully managing fuel, as full throttle drains it quickly, and effectively using external views, which are critical for keeping track of enemy aircraft during dogfights. Finally, the page touches on the overall mission structure.
The ultimate goal is to stop a dictator by successfully completing multiple missions.
After the initial scenario, 4 more await the player. A small comment from the developer briefly mentions the timely relevance of Russia and the MiG-29, and that the Japanese localization is now complete.
This page introduces the Sega Mega Drive game Metal Fangs, a brutal cyberpunk racing combat title where modified humans race to the death in a ruined cyber city. The story centers on a young boy who possesses immense power, challenging the race commissioner who fears him and has created a chaotic, weaponized race. Though defeated, the boy is resurrected and seeks revenge. Gameplay is described as a free-for-all smash-up on the track, emphasizing attacking opponents with weapons and destroying their cars. The page details the game flow, starting with selecting a team of 4 drivers, each with unique stats. Players can then power up their chosen racer's equipment and weapons before heading into the race. Different race modes are highlighted, including attack mode focused on destroying rivals for points while completing laps, and defense mode, which involves surviving attacks with fewer vehicles. Screenshots showcase the top-down racing perspective and portraits of potential team members. A comment from the developer touches on the game's cyberpunk themes and suggests enjoying the sound design. This page is dedicated to the action platformer B.O.B, originally known as Space Funky, B.O.B. The reviewer describes it as another example of a Bayo game, a term in this magazine referring to titles with quirky characters, presentation, and overall weirdness that makes them enjoyable despite potential flaws. The story setup involves B.O.B, a young alien, getting into an accident on his way to a date, crashing onto an unknown planet. The game is presented as a standard action game, but features a friendly password system that allows players to resume every 3 stages. The levels are extensive, with the 3 main planetary stages broken down into 50 smaller areas. Player's Guide B.O.B. Through various alien environments, using weapons found along the way, and items like flying devices and shields. Screenshots showcase the diverse level design, the main character B.O.B, various bizarre alien enemies he encounters, and some of the large, grotesque bosses. The page also includes comic-style panels, illustrating the game's opening story sequence, with B.O.B.'s father lecturing him before the crash. After overcoming numerous challenges and bosses to escape the planet, B.O.B.'s adventure isn't over, as he crashes on yet another world, leaving the player to wonder if he'll ever make his date. This page dives into the vertical scrolling shooter Troubleshooter 2, known as Battlemania Daijinjo in Japan. The article highlights the game's development progress, stating it's 100% complete and a single-player experience. The reviewer notes the recent decline in shooting games on the Mega Drive, and expresses hope that games like this, when done well, can bring the genre back. The page walks through some of the later stages, specifically mentioning the Ghost Shrine, Stage 3, and the Ghost Secret Base, Stage 4. Screenshots showcase the detailed pixel art environments, bizarre enemies, and intense boss encounters. The article touches on the unique mechanics and challenges players will face in these levels, including large, intricate bosses and hidden areas. Character illustrations and chibi comic panels featuring the heroines Mana and Rei, and other characters,
add to the game's distinctive personality, showing their reactions during gameplay and interactions, including a humorous panel with the commander bringing a bento box. The page concludes with a brief message from the developer, Vic Takai, expressing gratitude to fans and mentioning they are busy leading up to the December release. This page is dedicated to the exciting Tecmo Super Bowl on the Sega Mega Drive. As an officially licensed NFL game, it boasts all 28 teams and their real players, making it a must-have for fans. The game is praised for its simple system, allowing anyone familiar with the rules to pick it up easily. It features multiple modes like preseason, season, and Pro Bowl, along with data options. The season mode even supports up to 48 participants. The gameplay is described as thrilling, with visual highlights for impressive plays like big runs or key defensive stops, complete with reaction bubbles like, "Oh," and "Yeah." The article emphasizes the importance of key positions on offense, QB RBWR, and the satisfying challenge of defensive QB sacks. A notable feature is the inclusion of 3 years of play schedules, letting you relive past seasons, and the ability to choose weather conditions like snow, which adds another layer to the game. Tecmo Super Bowl on Mega Drive seems to be a fantastic, accessible, and authentic NFL experience. This page dives into the world of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, tournament fighters on the Sega Mega Drive, a competitive fighting game. The review praises its fast pace and satisfying feel, especially highlighting the two-player versus mode as a major draw for fans. The article also serves as an introduction to the TMNT universe, explaining how to distinguish the four brothers by their signature-colored bandanas and weapons. Leonardo with blue and swords, Donatello in purple with his bull's staff, Michelangelo wearing orange and wielding nunchucks, and Raphael sporting red with his sei. It touches upon their origin story, mentioning their mutation via mutagen, and their master, Splinter, formerly Hamato Yoshi. Beyond the game, the page explores other facets of the franchise, featuring images of transforming action figures and vehicles like the Turtle Blimp, and noting that the popular Mutant Turtles anime series was currently airing, featuring the Shredder familiar from the side-scrolling game Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Hyperstone Heist. Screenshots reveal a diverse roster of fighters beyond the Turtles, including Ray Fillet, Musashi Beetle, Triceraton, Krang in his android body, and Karai, battling across varied stages like the Cosmic Mirage Planet, a dinosaur-filled land, and Dimension X. This page is a deep dive into the fighting mechanics of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Tournament fighters, serving as a strategy guide or secret scrolls for mastering each character. It provides detailed tips and move breakdowns for Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, Casey Jones, Ray Fillet, April O'Neil, and Musashi Beetle. For each fighter, the guide outlines their special moves and offers strategic advice, highlighting their strengths and recommended playstyles. For instance, it notes Leonardo's difficulty with complex inputs but praises his forward jumping attacks, advises Donatello players to utilize his range and close-up game, and suggests Raphael is great for beginners due to his powerful specials. Michelangelo excels at mid-range combat, Casey Jones is known for his stick lariat and tricky dynamite, while Ray Fillet dominates at long range with his dive kicks and manta press. April is recommended for newcomers, leveraging her flying tools and dive kicks, and Musashi Beetle is presented as a ground combat powerhouse centered around his hovering uppercut. Beyond individual character strategies, the page offers general fighting tips, emphasizing the importance of command mastery, effective special move usage, and observing the opponent. It also includes a character matchup chart rating compatibility between fighters out of 10, suggesting April O'Neil appears to be a particularly strong character overall. At the bottom, a small image teases upcoming content related to Master Splinter. This page explores the light gun shooter Lethal Enforcers, featuring a review by a freelance writer who identifies as an authority on arcade shooting games. He recounts his history with classic titles like Namco's Shooting Way, Spunk's Beastbusters, and Taito's Operation Wolf, stating that Lethal Enforcers offers a refreshing change of pace. Unlike the rapid-fire machine gun games of the past, Lethal Enforcers emphasizes precise single shots, requiring accuracy over volume, which he finds compelling. The review highlights the game's two-player mode and a training mode, noting that the experience is best enjoyed with the dedicated light gun peripheral, the Justifier. The reviewer mentions playing the game on a large television screen enhances the immersion. Images show the game being played with the pink Justifier gun, as well as promotional art featuring the revolver and a portrait of the reviewer. A small note from the developers confirms the excitement of the simultaneous two-player action, and specifically recommends the Mega CD version for its quality.
This page features a special interview or discussion about interactive movies and virtual cinema on the Mega CD platform. The main title highlights interactive movie, virtual cinema, and questions how the Mega CD is changing things. The article focuses on the rise of games prioritizing realism and interactivity, suggesting a significant shift in CRIDROM game development. The content seems to be an interview with Hiroshi Watanabe, pictured on the right, who is described as a virtualist knowledgeable about both overseas and domestic affairs, currently writing books and involved in game development. Watanabe discusses his views on interactive movies, mentioning titles like Night Trap and Mansion of Hidden Souls, Yumemiyakata no Monogatari. He seems critical of some existing interactive movies, finding them perhaps technically impressive but lacking engagement or gameplay depth. He praises Sega for presenting Night Trap and Mansion of Hidden Souls at this time, seeing them as significant multimedia works that showcase the potential of the platform. He specifically highlights the immersive nature of watching scenes in Night Trap, comparing the feeling to rapidly switching between TV channels. He finds the pacing and interactive elements compelling. He also expresses appreciation for the style of Mansion of Hidden Souls. Watanabe suggests that success in this genre comes more from individuals with game development knowledge rather than just those from a film background, relying solely on visual tools. The ability to integrate interactivity effectively is key. Night Trap, a Mega CD interactive movie game, is touted as a revolutionary blend of movie and game. Releasing November 19th, the game boasts high-quality full-motion video, immersing players in a B-grade horror movie experience. Players take on the role of Scat, monitoring cameras and setting traps to protect the Martin family guests. The game features a large cast of characters with distinct personalities, and gameplay involves switching between 8 simultaneous locations to trigger traps based on visual and audio clues. The 90-minute FMV experience promises a deep dive into the story's unfolding mystery. The next page dives deeper into the interactive movie experience of Night Trap on the Mega CD, highlighting the key features and mysteries players will encounter. It points out these 7 mysteries of the Martin family, teasing plot points like the secret of the wine, the hidden basement, and the true nature of the augurs. The page humorously comments on the Scat team's clumsiness and their role as classic B-movie fodder, suggesting their acting might even be Academy Award-worthy in its commitment to the trope. It also describes the augurs, the main adversaries, as surprisingly humorous despite their sinister appearance. Gameplay is detailed as a trap of traps, emphasizing the critical timing required to activate traps across 8 camera feeds to capture enemies. Players must constantly monitor different locations, and failing to act quickly can lead to a game over. The page stresses that watching the story unfold while managing traps is the core challenge. Various character moments are highlighted through screenshots, such as Cindy enjoying sherbet, the sister with a large appetite, and Tony being described as a Casanova. The overall tone suggests the game is an engaging, albeit campy, B-movie horror ride, where paying close attention is key to uncovering the mysteries and surviving the night. The next page features The Story of the Dream Mansion, an interactive movie game. It opens by presenting narration text that didn't make it into the final game, setting a mysterious tone about a hidden mansion and strange occurrences. The article contrasts this title with traditional adventure games that rely on static images and menu commands, stating that The Story of the Dream Mansion is a virtual cinema experience from a first-person perspective. The gameplay focuses on exploring the mansion through smooth movement and camera control, eliminating on-screen text commands for actions. Highlights include the game's realistic camera perspective, specifically mimicking a child's viewpoint, and the smooth response to player input, even when navigating stairs. The development process is noted as large-scale, utilizing powerful workstations to achieve the sophisticated CG rendering and animation that makes the game visually impressive and distinct from older adventure titles like Blade, which is shown for comparison. Screenshots provide glimpses of the mansion's interiors, the game's unique visuals, and the actual development environment used to create it. The reviewer is clearly impressed by the technical achievement and the immersive, command-free approach to the adventure genre. Several Mega CD games are highlighted, showcasing the platform's growing interactive capabilities. Jurassic Park is a unique 3D action shooter, Rebel Assault, a realistic Star Wars 3D battle game, and Microcosm, a submarine-based shooter blending CG and live action. Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis is a classic point-and-click adventure, and Acts 101 emphasizes impressive video sequences,
The article praises the Sega CD's CD-ROM capacity for supporting rich multimedia experiences, catching up to PC games with titles like The Seventh Guest and potentially Mad Dog McCree. The next page features a close-up interview with Mamoru Shigeta, Director and Head of Consumer Software Research and Development Headquarters at Sega Enterprise, discussing Sega's concept of virtual cinema and its future. He highlights Sega's investment in new creative centers and multimedia studios to push Crudrum-based interactive experiences. Games like Mansion of Hidden Souls, Yumemi Yakata no Monogatari, and Night Trap are presented as prime examples of this high-interactivity virtual cinema. Shigeta stresses the crucial role of planning and direction alongside technical execution. CG, live action, polygons, textures, to create engaging games. He views this shift towards interactive movies as a major step for the industry, akin to the transition from black and white to color film. He also touches on differences in development practices between Japan and America, particularly regarding tools and resources. Sega's strategy involves recruiting diverse talent from various media fields and focusing on innovative software, including the Virtual Cinema series, and new challenges unique to Sega, not just arcade ports, signaling a major change for the company driven by software. The bottom of the page features an image of a modern glass building, likely one of Sega's new facilities. This page dives into the Mega CD port of the highly anticipated RPG Shin Megami Tensei. It's shaping up nicely, currently at 70% completion, and slated for a December release from Sims. The development is progressing rapidly, with the game's starting point, the town of Kichijoji, now fully realized. You'll explore locations like the protagonist's home, his friend's house, and the bustling underground shopping district. The page also introduces several key characters, like the protagonist, his loyal dog Pascal, the mysterious Yuriko, a strange man who appears in the shopping district, and even the hero's mother. Screenshots showcase the character portraits, including the protagonist, referred to as the low hero, and the formidable chaos hero, along with various enemies like zombies and pixies. The battle system is nearing completion, featuring elements like magic and the series' signature demon negotiation, although some fine-tuning is still needed. This glimpse shows the game is well on its way to bringing the dark and complex world of Shin Megami Tensei to the Mega CD. The issue also previews other upcoming titles like Microcosm, Dungeon Master 2, Might, and Magic 2 Eyes, and Eye of the Beholder on other pages. Keep an eye out for more details in the next issue. This page previews Microcosm, a unique 3D shooting game heading to the Mega CD, already available on FM Towns and slated for 3D. Developed by Psygnosis, it boasts impressive visual flair thanks to its fractal engine technology, immersing players in a vibrant, yet unsettling, inner world. The game puts you inside the human body, battling hostile elements. The story kicks off in 2051, where a corporate war between Cybertech and Axion leads to Axion implanting a mind control unit in the brain of Cybertech's president. Your mission, as a miniaturized Cybertech operative injected into the president, is to swiftly navigate his body's internal landscape in your combat vessel to destroy the unit and save his life. Screenshots showcase the detailed, often bizarre, biological environments, glimpses of CG animated story sequences depicting the corporate setup and the dramatic injection process, and the cockpit view from your internal combat machine. The game is currently 70% complete and scheduled for a January release, offering a one-player experience centered around its distinctive setting and visual presentation. This Mega CD game, Microcosm, details a journey through the human body. Players progress from an arm vein to the brain, encountering various enemies within the body's systems. The game's mind control unit is likened to an advanced medical targeting therapy, suggesting it's injected and not a natural pathogen. Enemies within the body's vessels, including a boss mech the size of a blood vessel, must be defeated before reaching the brain. Success involves aiming for the mech's core to deplete its damage meter and destroy it. Screenshots illustrate the gameplay, showing the boss, various enemies, and the player's perspective within the body's vascular system. This page features Dungeon Master 2, Skullkeep for the Sega Mega CD, highlighting its Japanese first release as the initial entry in a new series. This real-time RPG promises a game-changing experience, building on the legacy of the original Dungeon Master. The article describes the intense atmosphere of exploration, suspense, and fear that made the series famous. Screenshots show the first-person dungeon perspective, the action hands used for interaction and combat, and detailed information panels. The combat involves encountering monsters, illustrated by a fierce beast shown attacking the party. The magic system is detailed, explaining how spells are cast by combining different symbols representing power, element, form, and alignment, each consuming mana. The article also provides a quick guide on combat mechanics, emphasizing using the action hands for attacks or magic. Essential character stats, health, stamina, and mana, magic points, are explained, vital for survival in the treacherous dungeons. Overall, the page emphasizes the complex and challenging nature of the game's systems. Dungeon Master 2 Skullkeep for Sega Mega CD expands on the original with key features like a robust trading system, enhanced environmental interaction, opening chests, interacting with objects, and a built-in map system. The game also introduces dynamic weather effects in the overworld. Separately, Victor Entertainment announced a large lineup of upcoming games, including titles like Shadow of the Beast 2, Level Assault, and Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, showcasing a diverse portfolio for various platforms. This page features the Mega CD RPG, Owlshark, developed by Sandstorm and published by Polydor, released in November 1993. The game is described as entering a full-scale adventure, and the completion gauge is shown at 100%. The content focuses on the party's first mission to planet Zazil, to investigate and eliminate a syndicate involved with a dangerous drug. The narrative covers their journey, including stops in towns like Cybele and Porkin, where they confront syndicate members and gather information. A key event involves dealing with a character named Tomiyu, and uncovering the mastermind behind the syndicate, Commander Geist, leading to the rescue of Shoko. Gameplay screenshots illustrate turn-based battles, dialogue sequences with character portraits, and an overhead space map used for navigation between locations. The page also highlights the Scrap Joe system, where players can dismantle unneeded items for scrap material. This scrap is then used by Joe to repair the party's ship, the Atreya, and develop new weapons and armor, adding a crafting element to the game's progression. This page continues the adventure in the Mega CD RPG Owlshark. Fresh off their first mission, Shion and the party are sent to Planet Butte for monster extermination, following information gathered in the town of Kainamayan. Their journey takes them to capital Tsuwil, a bustling city with well-equipped shops offering powerful gear. They also stumble upon an underground bar, where they receive a shocking videogram from Shion's long-lost mother. The page notes the hotels in Tsuwil, mentioning the high-class one is particularly nice. Next, the party travels by hover to Dinah's village, where they finally reunite with Shion's mother, Lucia. However, the joyful reunion is short-lived, as Lucia reveals a disturbing truth. She is integrated with the alien life form, Owlshark. The narrative continues, highlighting dialogue with characters like Professor Fenrose and Mammon, hinting at further complexities and threats. The adventure then leads to Beggy's village, where Shion seeks knowledge about Mars history. They meet a researcher who shares insights from 300 years prior and bestows an emblem upon Shion, a testament to friendship with the Mayunth people. The page captures pivotal moments in the game's unfolding plot through screenshots of exploration, dialogue, and menu interfaces, reflecting the game's focus on narrative progression and key encounters. The Owlshark Mega CD RPG party travels to Planet Sti, targeting Tertai town near Mayunth villages Yakyu, Korel, and Mikar. Trials within the villages test the party's members. Hilda and Jur fail trials in Yakyu and Korel, respectively, leaving Shion to complete the final trial in Mikar, defeating robots in a toxic, gas-filled passage. The party learns about Sarth's ruins, near a submerged town. A meeting with Mainira occurs, leaving a mantle behind, hinting at deeper connections to Domna and Sarth's past. The adventure continues, promising further exploration and encounters. The next page dives into the mysterious world of Psychic Detective Series Volume 4, Orgel for the Mega CD. Published by DataWest, this visual comic series game puts you into a gripping mystery that begins with the gruesome death of Suju Kamogawa, whose body is found with eyes gouged out and stuffed into a sack. The article details a series of escalating tragedies, including an earthquake, a blackout, and the death of another character, Kageichi Yamada, found gruesomely attached to a generator turbine. The plot involves searching for characters in dark basements, encountering bizarre scenes like crows feeding on a buried body, and the chilling sound of a scream echoing through the mansion. Screenshots depict character portraits, nighttime outdoor scenes, and eerie interior locations, setting a dark and suspenseful tone for this latest installment in the Psychic Detective series. This page focuses on the classic RPG Might and Magic 2i, appearing on the Mega CD platform. It kicks off with a recap of previous events, mentioning the rescue of Morgan, who was captured by the Rat King after navigating a cave. The guide then advises players on exploring the area outside Fountainhead, hinting at various discoveries like coaches, wells, and goblin frontline bases. Screenshots show the Fountainhead Gate and an encounter with a goblin base. Next, it moves to the town of Baywatch, describing how a sudden storm caused numerous holes to appear, turning the town into a haven for undead. Players are advised to visit Brother Alpha for information on the stolen flute, and then his brother Beta in the Baywatch dungeon. Screenshots illustrate the town gate and a character encounter. Finally, the Baywatch dungeon section details traps and recommends learning spells like Levitate, Jump, and Wizard Eye. It mentions finding Brother Beta and the Silver Skull quest item. Screenshots show a dungeon interior and character encounters within the dungeon. The page also highlights helping rescue two characters, Brother Beta and Brother Gamma, trapped at specific map coordinates. This Might and Magic 2 Mega CD Guide details key locations. Vilvedhall Town, now controlled by ninjas and dungeon dwellers, holds Brother Gamma for crucial skill training. The Vilvedhall Cave features multiple chests, including one with Brother Delta and a trapped hiring. Other locations include the Icarus Shrine, Unicorn Quest, Blood Rain Castle, Experience Gain, Boatsman's Wharf, Swamptown Access, Ancient Pyramid, Arkroyd's Cave, Brother Zeta, Fire Island, Powerful Beings, and Swamptown, Undead, Wadusan. The Gargoyle Shrine leads to a boss battle. Screenshots of locations and characters are included. The guide emphasizes further exploration. This page showcases the Mega CD release of Eye of the Beholder, presented as a virtual tabletop RPG experience. The game thrusts adventurers into a dangerous dungeon beneath a city to defeat a beholder, but they become trapped when the exit is sealed. Survival hinges on building a strong party and understanding character traits. The guide details key mechanics, starting with character creation, where players choose from 6 races including human, dwarf, elf, half-elf, and halfling. It stresses the importance of matching races to classes, like a high-intelligence elf being suited for a mage. The complex Dungeons & Dragons-based alignment system is explained, covering the 9 alignments from lawful good to chaotic evil, which determine a character's behavioral tendencies. Screenshots display the first-person dungeon view, character portraits, a camp menu for managing the party, and the character generation screen showing stats and equipment slots. Players are advised to regularly check character status and gear, and to save their progress often. The article recommends the game to players who appreciate atmospheric exploration and have a curious nature. This page covers 2 upcoming games. First up is Ishi Hisaichi no Deisekai, a political simulation game on Mega CD presented like a board game. You play as a secretary, aiming for the top political office, driven by a quirky divine mission. The article highlights the ability to use kanji for names and shows character parameters, noting the game is nearing completion, but questioning its seemingly nonsensical premise and reliance on luck for stats. Below that is Popful Mail for Mega CD, described as an action RPG. The article showcases vibrant character artwork, including male, tat, and gao, and mentions the game will feature CD-quality character voices and music. It notes the release has unfortunately been delayed, but assures readers that more information will be provided soon, promising a fun and energetic experience despite the wait. This page covers 2 contrasting games for the Mega CD. First is the Third World War, a simulation game focused on global conflict and diplomacy, released on November 26th. It challenges players to unify the world through either military conquest or economic dominance, noting that the best strategy depends heavily on the nation you choose to lead, like focusing on economic expansion as Japan or military might as the USA. The article highlights the dynamic world situation and the strategic depth offered. Below that is Battle Fantasy, an action fighting game still in development. This is the 3rd fighting title from Micronet and takes a fantasy turn. Beyond standard arcade and versus modes, it boasts unique features like an RPG-lite mode with training and item shops, and a character grow mode. The game features a roster of 10 playable characters, showcasing vibrant artwork and screenshots of combat and menu screens, emphasizing the variety of gameplay modes available.
This page previews Mega CD titles Popful Mail and Sengoku, alongside updates on Record of Lodos War, Dark Wizard, and other upcoming games for the platform.
This page dives into a school-themed parody of Street Fighter II, titled Saint Street 2+ Gakuen, focusing on fighting techniques. The narrative section follows two characters, Osamu and Hitoshi, in the Martial Arts Research Club, as they discuss improving their skills. The core of the page focuses on controversial forbidden techniques, or hame-waza, roll techniques, cheese tactics, in Street Fighter II. A detailed summary section breaks down how to exploit character stun times and demonstrates specific lockdown or cheese tactics using screenshots, such as throws performed after a weak attack, following a jump kick, or after forcing an opponent to block special moves, like throwing Balrog after he blocks a special. Finally, there's a guide dedicated to mastering Blanka, offering detailed strategies on his moves and how to effectively utilize his unique abilities in combat. A small mention is made of a contest related to the Street Fighter II anime movie. The next page continues the Saint Street 2+ Gakuen story, showing the climax of the school festival tournament. The final match is between Osamu, the boys' club leader infamous for his hame-waza, cheese tactics, and Reika, the girls' club leader and a formidable opponent. The narrative details the intense back and forth, with Reika trying to counter Osamu's exploits. But ultimately, the match ends in a draw, leading to a call for a rematch. Illustrations of Osamu and Reika are featured. Below, the page showcases fan art from the Street Fighter II Manga Research Club presentation, featuring interpretations of characters like Zangief, Dalsim, and E Honda, along with brief critiques. One notable piece is Dalsim, with a conceptual new move. A Street Fighter II circle column comments on the school festival's events and uses the Sega Genesis/Mega Drive game House of Tarot to try and predict who Reika's love interest might be. Finally, a contest result declares M. Bison as the best partner for Vega-sama, M. Bison, winner, accompanied by a small illustration related to Zangief and Blanka, and a note on finishing moves like Zangief's spinning piledriver. This page previews games for the Game Gear handheld console, focusing heavily on Sonic and Tails, released on November 19, 1993. The main highlight is the ability for players to choose between Sonic and Tails at the start, emphasizing Tails' unique flying ability which allows access to different paths and makes some sections easier. The game features 6 distinct stages, including areas reminiscent of Green Hill Zone, a space/pinball level, an indoor stage, a mechanical zone, an underwater planet, and a final electric-themed zone leading to a confrontation with Dr. Eggman. Hot news on the page announces a speed contest for Sonic and Tails. Players are challenged to achieve the fastest clear time on specific zones. Clearing a zone within a certain time displays your average speed. Sega is hosting this contest, offering prizes to top speedsters. Entry involves clearing a designated zone in the game's speed contest mode, and mailing in the clear code and required information by the deadline. This page features previews for 2 distinct Game Gear titles. First is Faceball 2000, described as a unique 3D maze shooter where players navigate environments populated by sentient faces. The review highlights its surreal atmosphere and the inclusion of a 2-player link cable mode, emphasizing the importance of using the map to track opponents. It also mentions the Cyberscape mode, which focuses on puzzle solving to find the exit. Below, Mortal Kombat is showcased, bringing the popular arcade fighting game to the handheld. The preview notes the impressive size of the character sprites for a Game Gear title, confirms 6 playable fighters are available, and mentions the bosses Shang Tsung and Goro. The text suggests that mastering the controls, particularly the timing for blocking, requires practice. Screenshots show gameplay, character selection featuring characters like Sonya Blade and Liu Kang, and the boss selection screen. This page dives into the Game Gear's take on the classic dungeon crawler with a preview of Madou Monogatari I, subtitled 3 Magic Orbs. This title is highlighted as the Game Gear's first 3D RPG, and is recommended even for players who aren't typically fond of the genre. Praised for making 3D exploration accessible on a handheld, the article notes its origins as an MSX title, and its significance as the foundation for the entire Madou Monogatari, and later, the immensely popular Puyo Puyo series. Gameplay is shown from a first-person perspective, as you navigate the Magic Kindergarten. The main character, Arle Naja, familiar to Puyo Puyo players, features prominently, with a section dedicated to showcasing her expressive sprite animations during battles and dialogue. The game focuses on Arla clearing a final test. For players, the page provides helpful maps of the first 3 floors, pointing out key locations like stairs and treasure chests, and mentioning the convenience of an auto-mapping feature. The advice is to keep a close eye on the maps and save frequently. In the G.G hotline section, a reader expresses a wish for the GG Shinobi to be included in a compilation, which prompts the editor to acknowledge Madhu Monogatariad as a good game itself. At the bottom, there are small previews for other upcoming games, including a Donald Duck platformer, a mahjong title called Kuhai 2, and Nazo Puyo 2, which is a puzzle game featuring Arglay and Carbuncle. This Thunderbird's International Rescue Mission segment provides strategies for the complex space empire simulation Mega Schwarzschild. Players stuck in Episode IV, Somali Great War, should ignore the apparent path and use allies to capture key planets like Hamadan and Ilkhan, then attack the enemy base. Episode 6, Betrayal of the Empire, requires patience. Wait for your allied fleet to return and defend your home planet until a defensive reactor is online. Aggressive action follows, targeting the enemy's vulnerable base.
Readers needing further help are encouraged to contact the magazine.
This page features the BeepMD League, Volume 44, presenting classic cheat codes and hidden features for 3 popular titles. First up is Sonic the Hedgehog CD. If you've cleared the game, Mastering Time Attack allows access to 3 hidden modes. DA Garden, which lets you listen to the game's music. Special Stage Time Attack, for practicing the tricky special stages. And Visual Mode, showcasing animations from the game. There's also a straightforward stage select code you can input on the title screen. Next we have McDonald's Treasureland Adventure, where a specific button sequence on the title screen grants access to a stage select feature, allowing you to jump directly to any level. Finally, Tasmania offers a cool trick combining invincibility and stage selection. By holding down buttons on both controllers simultaneously at the title screen and then starting the game, you gain invincibility. While invincible, pausing the game allows you to hit a button to instantly warp to the next stage, letting you blast through the game or explore stages freely. These are fantastic old-school tricks that add replayability and make the games even more fun. This Mega Drive Trick League page reveals hidden features in various games. Victory Zone 357 allows for instant access to all characters by placing a unit at a specific map coordinate. Sylphide's Supermania mode is activated with a button sequence.
Street Fighter II Special Champion Edition enables team battles with duplicate characters via a controller input. Shining Force 2 offers a post-game sound test and ally name-changing options. A config mode for general options is unlocked by a button sequence. These reader-submitted tips add replay value to classic Mega Drive games, and submissions for prizes are encouraged. This page continues the Neo Geo feature, Neo Geo Volume 16, focusing on chasing down an evil mad scientist in the main game, Spin Master, known as Miracle Adventure in Japan. This is a frantic side-scrolling action game featuring 2-player co-op, where you team up to rescue a kidnapped friend. The screenshots showcase diverse environments, like caves, forests, underground passages, and intense boss battles against massive foes, including a giant flying machine, a multi-headed creature, and a dragon. The controls are straightforward, utilizing the standard Neo Geo joystick and 4 buttons for movement, attacks, jumps, and bombs. Bombs are your lifeline when things get hairy. Elsewhere on the page, there's exciting news for fighting game fans. Ryo Sakazaki from the Art of Fighting series is making a special guest appearance in Fatal Fury Special. The screenshot shows Ryo facing off against Terry Bogard. Finally, the page highlights Super Sidekicks as a must-play Neo Geo title for sports fans, noting its accessible but deep soccer gameplay with flashy special shots. It's recommended for anyone looking to experience the Neo Geo's arcade sports pedigree.
This page presents a reader giveaway for the December 1993 issue. Readers have the chance to win one of several prizes by applying via postcard. The top prizes include your choice of Mega Drive, Mega CD, or Game Gear software released up to November 1993, with 30 winners getting their pick of a Mega Drive title, and 5 choosing a Game Gear game. Beyond the software, there are various merchandise items up for grabs, including 10 cool Spot dolls, 2 cool Spot coasters, and 10 cool Spot notebooks. 5 fans can win a mini calendar featuring artwork from Shining Force 2, while 20 others can receive the Play Arts newspaper from Game Arts. Finally, 10 readers can get a special Konami ballpoint pen. The page also includes an information section reflecting on the busy gaming year of 1993. It notes the release of the 3DO in America, the impending launch of the Atari Jaguar, and describes the Japanese market as a mixed state, with major players like Sega, Nintendo, Sony, and Atari making announcements about future hardware. The magazine pledges to keep covering these next-generation developments, and mentions a reader vote for the MegaDrive Academy Award taking place in this issue. The next issue is set to release on December 8th. This page features content related to several Tengen releases. A concluding article finishes a narrative about the mysterious land of Kegadal, intertwining the lore with the fantasy pinball game Dragon's Revenge. The game, known for its tables based on creatures and settings from fantasy, is mentioned as being available for 7,800 yen. Separately, an article focuses on environmental protection, featuring the character Awesome Possum investigating pollution, which ties into the themes of the platformer Awesome Possum Kicks Drive, Makino's Island. Rounding out the page is a promotion centered around Gauntlet IV. This includes an announcement for a Gauntlet Continent Trip Adventure and a lottery, offering winners a themed wallet, alongside a screenshot of the classic dungeon crawling action. This page presents a simulated newspaper page from Tengen, featuring articles and advertisements related to their games. The main headline reports on Japanese mercenaries in the Middle East conflict, detailing a mysterious divine seclusion event where Japanese tourists disappeared, linking it to a travel agency, and mentioning the MiG-29, suggesting a narrative tie-in for the game. A separate section focuses on Holiday as Pilot MiG-29 fighter pilot, framed as a news report describing an experience flying the MiG-29 simulation, complete with images of the cockpit and aircraft. It hints at a strange event during the simulated flight experience. Humorously, there's an ad for Aesthetic Salon Revenge, using graphics from the fantasy pinball game Dragon's Revenge to promote a beauty treatment that transforms a dragon's rough skin into smooth skin. Finally, the environmental platformer Awesome Possum is featured in a section promoting resource conservation and recycling, showing the character addressing pollution issues and tying it into the game's theme of protecting the Earth. Copyright information confirms the page features MiG-29, Dragon's Revenge, and Awesome Possum, all Tengen titles. This page features Phantasy Star IV, The End of the Millennium, a legendary RPG for the Mega Drive. The striking illustration showcases the heroes, Chaz, Ashley, Rika, and Ren, facing off against a monstrous threat, hinting at the grand scope of the adventure. The text highlights the deep and impactful story, following Chaz on his first mission as a hunter, which sends his destiny down an unexpected path. It praises the innovative battle system, including powerful combination attacks, and the impressive graphics. The narrative is said to unfold through a series of dramatic developments, ultimately revealing the ancient mystery behind the creation of the Algo star system. The game was scheduled for release on December 17th.